For new Mets manager Art Howe has been 5 strong starts by 3-game winner Al Leiter. Tony La Russa will counter with his staff leader, who's coming off a good performance with a bad result in Atlanta. Matt Morris tries to even his record next on Fox Sports Net. Look, there's Mike Piazza. He's ready to go, and so are the Mets, and so's this field eventually as it pulled the tarp off. The rain has stopped, and in about a half hour we'll have baseball. First of a 3-game set between the New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, how are you? 20 innings on Sunday. Did you watch every minute? I know I did. The Cardinals ended up winning that game 7-6, and thankfully did not have to limp home with a tough loss against the Marlins. Now they're home, and Al Roboski, what a good way to start this home stand, and that is with Matt Morris on the mound, but he'll have his hands full tonight with Al Leiter opposing him.
Yeah, this is a classic matchup. 2 aces going head-to-head each other. This doesn't get any better than this. These are 2 interesting ball clubs, 2 veteran ball clubs, but a lot of people around the Mets say it's not a very good club.
Yeah, that's the thing. The New York Mets are struggling right now. They're in last place in the NL East. They've got an enormous payroll. They've got a lot of guys that are getting paid a lot that aren't playing right now. We'll get into that during tonight's game. Right now we'll hear from Tony La Russa regarding tonight's pitching matchup. Matt Morris, Al Leiter. It's a good one.
You know, the Mets had a tough Sunday. They have Leiter pitching, so you know they feel like they got a great chance. You know, we're coming off that 20 innings. Want to get off to a good start here in the homestand. We got Matt Morris, so it's a classic, and I think both clubs will pitch well. It's going to be very demanding for hitters.
Are you going to dub this an April Classic, Al Roboski? Can you have a classic in the month of April in the sport of baseball?
Sure you can.
So tonight's a classic.
It's a classic.
Tonight is a classic. Set your VCRs. We'll give you the disclaimer later. You cannot use the recorded telecast for any sort of financial benefit at all. Look, there's Eduardo Perez. He hit 2 against Leiter last year.
Matt Morris and Dave Duncan, along with Mike Matheny, talking things over in the Cardinals dugout. 7:35 will be our first pitch here at Busch Stadium. It was raining for about a good 20-25 minutes or so before the game, but we will get this one in as the Cardinals and the Mets hook up in game number 1 of this 3-game set, and the Cardinals just wrapped up 15 of 18 away from Busch. Now, one of the guys that will not play in this series is Tino Martinez. Originally a suspension that was 4 games has been reduced to 3, and he talked to Tony La Russa before the game, and they talked about what they should do. And according to Tino, they said serve that suspension now.
Well, I spoke to Tony about it and asked him when he thought would be a good time. I knew that I'd get 3 days. One day knocked off my suspension to have 3 days, and I asked him if it'd be better if I took it now against the Mets tonight, which I would have probably had a day off against Leiter anyway, or sometime down the road. And he wanted me to get out of the way with it as quickly as we can, especially before we get into our divisional games that whole month of May against the division. And he thought it'd be the best thing to do right now, so I just went with what he said.
So Tino Martinez not in the lineup, obviously, in this series against the New York Mets. And one guy that is Eduardo Perez, as Joe was telling you prior to our first break. Very good success against Al Leiter last year and the Mets. Matt Morris will go for St. Louis here tonight. He is 1-2 against Al Leiter, 3-0. Cardinals baseball eventually from Busch is coming up.
We're going to have some baseball. We're going to have it right now. Matt Morris and the Cardinals have hit the field. Art Howe and the New York Mets in the basement in the NL East. They're in town for the first of 3. Today's Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Mr. Howe, former Cardinal. Robbie Alomar, then Timo Perez, Cliff Floyd hitting 3rd. Mike Piazza. Highlight what he's done over the last 10 games. Bo Vaughn at first. Ty Wigington, the young 3rd baseman. Roger Cedeno struggling in right. Jay Bell, that's right, Jay Bell at short. And Al Leiter pitching and batting 9th. Let's go around the horn. It's brought to you by Auto Tire. At first base, it's Albert Pujols underhanding it around. A little safer than left field. Second base, Miguel Cairo hitting the leadoff spot. Gave you sneak previews to what's coming up in the starting lineup. Scott Rowland over at 3rd, and Edgar Renteria is the shortstop man. Out in the outfield, it's Eli Marrero in left. Jim Edmonds is in center. And Eduardo Perez, who, as we mentioned, hit a couple of home runs against Al Leiter last year, is in right field. Mike Matheny does the catching for Matt Morris, our Chrysler starting pitcher. And there are the numbers for Matt. Good ERA, the record under 500.
Well, Matt's making his 6th start, 3rd at home. He's allowed just 5 earned runs in his last 4 starts for a 1.75 ERA. He has worked 6 or more innings in each of his last 5 starts and 7 or more in 4 of his last 5. There's one of those 7-inning affairs. Last time out, remember, he gave up the back-to-back home runs in the 1st inning, shut it down from there. Edmonds hit a 2-run home run in the 9th, and we lost 4-2.
Well, the first pitch of the night, first meeting with the Mets after a lot of action between these two clubs in spring training, is fouled out of play by Roberto Alomar. Art Howe went to Roberto a while back, about a week and a half ago, and said Roger Cedeno is not going to be our leadoff hitter. He's not getting it done, so you are going to be it. And after initially lighting it up, he had a rough weekend against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but so did the Mets as a team. The Diamondbacks stomped them, including Randy Johnson coming back. That's a foul ball by inches. And maybe an early indication, Al, as to what the luck will be like tonight for the Mets and for the Cardinals, as that was foul by a whisker.
See Art's numbers, but his team in that doubleheader, they got rained out on Saturday. They play a doubleheader on Sunday. He saw his batters strike out 27 times and commit 8 errors.
Here's a 1-2 to Alomar. 2-2 as Roberto checked his swing. Paul Schreiber is the home plate umpire tonight. And again, as we just told you, it's Alomar, Perez, and Floyd, Cliff Floyd, longtime Expo and Marlin. First year with the Mets hitting 3rd. In on his hands and into the dugout for Woody Williams, who makes a friend behind the dugout.
Matt Morris, very good. And he's pitching here at home, when he's pitching on at night.
Big swing by Alomar. How about Roberto Alomar and the fall from grace that he has experienced over the last year plus? Last year was really a shockingly poor year for a guy who's regarded as one of the best all-around second basemen ever to play the game.
And knocking on Cooperstown.
Alomar did not go, says the third base umpire Sam Holbrook, and so the count's full.
Let you be the judge, as another off-speed pitch. Whoa. That shot is always going to appear that he goes around, but
Alomar with a pretty good battle here. The count stays full.
surprising that he was not rung up on that one.
So Morris having to huff and puff to get this first out. Will he get Alomar? Yes. Into left field for Eli Marrero, trying to find it against that gray sky, and that's the first out. And that little battle is won by the Cardinal right-hander. Well, this is good to be back with you there, Al. I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. How'd you enjoy your 20-inning day in Florida on Sunday?
Well, I enjoyed the outcome, but that was part of it, Joe, is once we got to the plane, we found out that they had been waiting so long that our crew was illegal. They couldn't fly and still stay within the FAA regulations, so we had to wait another 2 hours for pilots.
That'll teach you to blow a 6-1 lead bullpen. Over the outside corner for a strike to Perez. A chopper over the head of Morris. Tough play and likely a base hit. It is a hit. It belongs to Perez, and once it got over Morris's outstretched glove, Renteria didn't have much of a chance.
I remember Timo Perez a couple years ago in postseason was a one-man wrecking crew, and here's just an awfully tough play. He has phenomenal speed, so it's a do-or-die play, and give him an infield single.
Perez getting more and more playing time as some of these high-dollar guys aren't producing for the Mets. Here's a high-dollar guy digging in, hitting .243, but I don't know, you and I have never talked about him. This has always been one of my favorite players. The way he swings the bat, I would take him if given the opportunity. He always gets his hacks. Ball one. But you know what? I don't want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about this Chinook State in history. Off the 20-inning affair on Sunday, April 29th, 1978, Cardinals beat the Dodgers in 1 hour and 33 minutes.
25th anniversary of the quickest 9-inning game in Cardinal history. Probably think that was either Gibson, Koufax, Gibson, Drysdale, somebody like that.
I'm guessing urea.
John Chief Urea.
Yes.
No, not 25 years.
Silvio Martinez. Time called by Floyd. So Morris, coming off that matchup against Greg Maddux, is hooked up with Al Leiter tonight and will probably draw Vasquez on Sunday from the Expos. And that's what happens when you're a #1 starter on a team. You get matched up with the best, and that's why, despite the good ERA, his record's under 500.
Well, he's really had tough luck. He's gotten very little run support.
3-1 on Floyd.
But Matt's a big guy in this staff. He has a lot of pride. He realizes that you're matched up against the best, you're not going to get much run support.
3-1. Floyd takes a walk, and it's 2 on with 1 out. Piazza coming up. Here's another guy they're starting to groan about in New York. Mike Piazza walking in. Last year had a sub Piazza-esque year, and this year is off to a .273 start, but only 4 RBIs for this last place team.
So 3 home runs and 4 RBIs.
That's almost impossible.
I was going to say that is impossible for this guy, but he had great success against Morris. 500, 7 for 14. A lot of the grumblings about so many defensive problems. You know, his is much talked about, his throwing, but some of their big high dollar guys are not playing very well defensively.
How about a little double dip here? First inning double play. How about a line drive for a base hit, and that'll load the bases. Marrero comes up gunning, and his bases loaded with 1 out. And Piazza's saying, come on, man, I got 4 RBIs. I can't drive guys in with hits now.
Well, over the head of Renteria into left field, and because of the possibility of the line drive and turning that into a double play, Perez cannot just run blindly. He has to watch and make sure it gets into the outfield, so that's why he does not score.
And the bases are loaded for Mo Vaughn, who takes a strike. So Perez is at third. Cliff Floyd, who drew a walk in the inning, at second, and Mike Piazza still complaining that he did not get an RBI on that hit.
Hit it on the ground, and at somebody, it's a double play.
Good fastball, 0-2 on Mo Vaughn.
Matty and Mo Vaughn, both Seton Hall graduates.
Well, Mr. Vaughn has not seen a Seton Hall Pirate curveball yet from Matt Morris. 2 fastballs for strikes. I'm guessing curveball, but that's me. And Vaughn able to hold up and catching a break from the home plate umpire, still up there.
Kind of maybe around the plate a little bit. Yeah, probably in those Seton Hall alumni games, he was waiting for that curveball.
Could have been. Maybe he's hit an alumni curveball from Matt Morris. 1-2 pitch. Not getting the inside corner, and it's even at 2-2.
You know, Joe, it makes it so difficult when, as a pitcher, you try and not throw the ball in the middle of the plate. You don't get the call on the outside, so you say, well, okay, he's going to have exaggeration on the inside. You don't get that pitch either. It makes it real tough to be successful.
23rd pitch of the first inning is swung on and missed for a big strikeout. 2 gone. Eventually got him on the Seton Hall Pirate curveball.
Well, when Matt was at Seton Hall that year, they said he had the best curveball of any of the collegiate pitchers for the draft, and you know what? It's gotten better.
Here's Ty Wigginton. He is the rookie third baseman for the Mets. He's off to a decent start. 268. Saw the Cardinals briefly last year, and looks at a breaking ball down for ball 1. So there isn't much of a book on Ty Wigginton. That's being compiled as we speak, and we'll see how Morris goes after him. 1-0 pitch. Ripped, just foul. And it's 1-1. What a swing from this young third baseman.
That's pretty quick, didn't it?
Wow.
He turns on this pitch, and you'll get a good look at it, what the umpire sees. And I know everybody at home didn't jump.
It looked like a Bagwell swing.
Yeah, it really did. Great example.
1-1 pitch. Reaching for it, strike 2 as that'll get out of play.
Jay Bell told me that he's playing shortstop tonight as Ray Sanchez still has a tendonitis at his throwing elbow, but he said in spring training he really worked with Ty trying to get him acclimated and help him out.
How about a 1-2 curveball? Little chopper foul. Well, you look at the Cardinals record, which is under 500 at 11-12. You look at the Mets record, which is under 500 at 11-14. Not a big difference, except 11-14 in New York, when you're the team across town from the Yankees, plays a little differently than 11-12 in St. Louis.
And they want Benitez, their closer's head.
A 1-2. Good pitch in on the hands, and Wigginton fought it off.
Well, Matt's thrown 28 pitches to this point. Hopefully he can get out of this with his 29th pitch, but they have made him work here in the first inning.
See if he's got Wigginton set up for a curveball. After that fastball in on him. 1-2 pitch. Fastball missed. 2-2.
So one of the things with the 20-inning game on Sunday and 11 scoreless innings by guys in the bullpen, Calero, Eldred, Dustin Hermanson, and Steve Klein, Tony La Russa is going, even with the off day yesterday, is going to do everything he can to give all those guys a second day off. So he was hoping that Matt would go well into this game, and this is not a good start. Watch this throw back here. Easy now.
That's from Schreiber, the home plate umpire.
Right. You know, Matt really wasn't ready.
Maybe he'll feel guilty and give him a borderline pitch. A good at bat from this young third baseman.
Timo Perez out there at third. Good reason why you always take your lead in foul territory, as he's had to dodge a couple balls. If that ball hits him in fair territory, Cardinals are out of the inning. He's out. Batter gets a base hit, but he's out and the inning is over.
Another 2-2 pitch. Long first inning for Matt Morris, and Matheny calls time. So this has been roughly a 30-pitch first inning. We've seen a long at bat by Alomar end up in a pop out. We've seen Timo Perez get an infield base hit. Cliff Floyd drew a walk. Piazza line drive single. It loaded the bases. A big strikeout to get Mo Vaughn. And now with the bases still loaded and 2 out, a battle with Ty Wigginton. 2-2 pitch. Counts full and the runners will go. How much confidence does he have in his curveball here in the first inning on the 3-2 count?
Well, that's a good question, because you can throw it now, you get a lot of guys, but you got to make sure it's close enough to strike zone.
To the left side, Renteria, only play the long way. Got him. What a play by Edgar to keep it a scoreless first inning. With the runners going, he couldn't go to second, and the Gold Glover came over the top, and it was Renteria that threw the best fastball of the first inning. After a half inning, our Pennzoil protection play, no doubt, already from Edgar Renteria, who's off to another good start with a glove. Overall defensively, and Ali had only one play with the runners going, and Edgar made it.
Absolutely. Deep in the hole, fields it out in the outfield grass, sets himself for the long throw, and just nips him at the wire. Boy, that's a heck of a play, and I think we may be talking about this. The difference of these two defenses could be the difference in ball games.
Yeah, this is not a very good team defensively for the Mets. The Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Cardinals have a different look, and it's kind of been a juggling effort by Tony La Russa. This time it's Eduardo Perez batting the cleanup spot behind Cairo, Edmonds, Pujols, and it's Roland Renteria, Marrero, Matheny, and Matt Morris pitching and batting ninth. Here is one of our favorites, Chrysler pitcher for the Mets, Al Leiter.
Well, he's off to a great start, 3-0. In 2000, he started the season 5-0, but his ERA, 2.35, ranks 8th in the National League, and only a 1.42 on the road.
This guy is a beauty, though, isn't he? He is a left-hander all the way. He is the kind of guy who's not going to mince words. He's perfect for New York. He grew up in Toms River, New Jersey, rooting for the Mets. He wants to finish his career with the Mets, and he is one of the better left-handers in the National League.
Yeah, he really is, but there's a new look to him. He used to throw so many cutters. Now he's throwing a lot more breaking pitches and using both sides of play. He used to just pound right-handed batters in.
1 ball, 1 strike on Cairo. 1 ball, 2 strikes on a pitch in on the hands of Miguel Cairo.
Had a great cutter. Now he's throwing a slider and breaking ball, changing speeds a little bit. Trying to come up with a new bag of tricks at his age, which is 37.
A 1-2 to Cairo. 37-year-old left-hander who's been with the Yankees. He's been with the Toronto Blue Jays. Happy to stay with the Mets.
Threw a no-hitter for the Florida Marlins. He was with them in the World Championship year.
The 2-2. Pretty well hit down the left field line. Got a chance to get out of the park. It is a foul ball.
Not by much. You know, he is not allowed a home run yet this year. Now what? Tony La Russa is talking about Pena and Cairo, both of them hitting way too many balls in the air. Told Pena, he said, I know you got that game-winning hit on Sunday, but on the off day, take some early batting practice. You'll be back in there on Tuesday, but let's let Cairo play a little bit.
So the 2-2. Oh. Right under the bill of his helmet, full count.
Well, it gets away from him a little bit, but it's up there and the proper spin to get out of the way.
So at 3-2. Shattered bat down the left field line. Is it going to stay fair? It is. Banks off the wall, and that's a good start. A double from Cairo. And a nice job of hanging in there after getting a sniff of one up and in. Let's go around the horn. It's brought to you by Auto Tire at first base. Here's a change. Get out your erasers. It's Tony Clark at first base after Mo Vaughn struck out in the top of the first. They went to Tony Clark, and we'll get an injury report on Mo Vaughn. Alomar at second, Wigginton at third with Jay Bell, the shortstop, longtime Pirate and Arizona Diamondback. Cliff Floyd is in left field. Timo Perez in center. Roger Cedeno is not particularly good outfielder. He's in right. Mike Piazza struggles defensively behind the plate. Al Leiter on the mound, and here is Jim Edmonds batting second. Strike one from Leiter. We should mention again, Al, that Cardinal first baseman Tino Martinez is serving his suspension. He got his suspension reduced from 4 games down to 3, and he's taking the 3 days in this series against New York. The 0-1. So the Cardinals are shorthanded even more than they have been. And Edmonds, in a mild protest, walks way out of the batter's box. And the home plate umpire, Paul Schreiber, we've already seen a lot from him in the first, well, less than a full inning.
Yeah, apparently, Matt tried to pitch a couple times, and the umpire wasn't ready.
Here's an 0-2 pitch.
A second note on Tino serving the suspension now. He wouldn't have played today. And, you know, when you have that suspension looming over your head, you don't really know when to take it. So probably to relax his mind, take it now.
A 1-2 pitch to Edmonds. Bailing a bit, and the count 2-2.
Dropping down a little sidearm. A little nasty look from Leiter.
Runner at second, nobody out. Leadoff double by Cairo. And Edmonds, a foul tip to stay alive. Are you sensing a bad mood from the home plate umpire tonight?
Probably.
When Edmonds walked out of the batter's box, even onto the grass, the home plate umpire kind of fouled him halfway out there.
I'm sure he said something, but nobody would have noticed it until he trailed it.
Runner at second. Edmonds, then Pujols, then Eduardo Perez coming up. Edmonds up the middle. That'll at least advance the runner. Roberto Alomar safe at first. And it's first and third with nobody out on an infield hit by Edmonds.
Bobby Alomar, numerous gold gloves in his package, and tough play up the middle there. He got to it. That saves a run by just stopping the ball in the infield, but he couldn't get enough on the throw. Pulls Tony Clark. He's 6'8", and I guarantee you that with Mo Vaughn, the way he's so limited, that ball might have gotten by Mo Vaughn. But good base running by Cairo to advance on that ball, and extra benefit for the league leading hitter Edmonds with another base hit.
Here's underhanded Pujols with runners at first and third, nobody out. See if Albert can put up the first run of the night. He will. Into left field, third consecutive hit, all the way to the wall. Cairo scores. Edmonds is being held. It's a double for Pujols, and it's 1-0 Cardinals.
Three consecutive hits to open up this first frame against Al Leiter, who had an excellent ERA and less than 150 on the road. There he is, plugging it down the gap. Now that Floyd there, you know, has a little trouble. I mean, he's got so many skills that it's surprising how they say that he's having trouble with so many facets of his game.
Our fourth key matchup, the RBI leaders in the National League since the 1st of July last year. And there's Pujols at the top. Our fourth key matchup, and Albert knocks home another for the season, is 13th. Second and third, nobody out for Eduardo Perez. And some rare first inning damage for the Cardinals against Al Leiter.
Well, remember why he's in this cleanup spot, his success against Leiter.
Leiter 5-3 in his career against the Cardinals. And on the hands, fought off for strike 2. After Perez, it's Roland. After Roland, Renteria.
6 for 20 with those 2 home runs. One of the best lefties in the National League.
Perez now chokes up a bit. 0-2 pitch. Wow. Chin high pitch, and Eduardo went after it.
It's funny how sometimes you have success against someone, you just go up there so confident. That pitch up there is hard to get on top of.
Be nice to reward Matt Morris with some more runs in the first inning. Already leading 1-0, and that missed barely. 1-2. Now Leiter with an extra glare in for Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire.
Well, you be the judge. Set up a little bit away, and it kind of goes around the plate, but very close.
A 1-2 pitch now to Eduardo. One away. So Matt Morris got a key strikeout with a man at third and less than 2 out in the top of the first, and now Al Leiter gets one as he gets Perez.
That strikeout Matty got was against Mo Vaughn, and Vaughn left this game with a stomach virus.
Got sick after striking out with the bases loaded.
I'm just relaying what the announcement was to the press.
Runners on at second and third. You look at the defense. They're playing Roland to hit it the opposite way. Scott hitting .244 with 16 RBIs. Ooh, a high strike. Ten strikeouts and 34 at bats for Roland against Leiter.
Scotty kind of struggling right now, but I think he's getting closer, working with Mitchell Page, trying to keep from lunging, keep the weight back a little bit. But you know what? He knows he can win a game with his glove too.
Too high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Mitchell Page looking on. He's been working with Vina, Roland, works with everybody.
One ball, 1 strike on Roland. Good pitch from Leiter, strike 2.
The other day, tough pitcher on the mound for Scott Roland, and Tony called him into his office and he showed him the lineup card, and his spot was blank. turning around and says, "What do you think?" He said, "Wait, don't you need a pin?"
Too high again. It's 2-2.
He goes, "You know, you struggle a little bit, but you know, maybe this is the guy you take a break." He goes, "I may be struggling, but I'm in a battle, and I can help you win this game with my glove or other facets." And he did in that game too. But he doesn't want days off. He said Monday was my day off.
The 2-2. Did well to lay off that pitch down and in. And it's a full count. Renteria next. 2 big runs sitting out there when you've got Matt Morris on the mound for you, and that's the case tonight. Already leading by 1. That's down the left field line. Scott Rowland delivers. Another extra base hit. It's 3-0 as Rowland coasts into second with a third double of the first. Boy, those are 2 big runs the Cardinals just put up on Al Leiter.
When you have opportunities, you have to make the most of it. And maybe the Cardinals got upset when they found out they were only second in the National League in hitting. They wanted to do something about it. Another pitch inside, but quick wrist and hips. He turns on it, hits it down into the corner, and Al Leiter is getting a visit by Vern Rule, the pitching coach. Good hitting right there.
The Mets, Al, really are already in the mode because of the negative press in New York, and we talked about it, at least touched on it at the top of the first. 11-14 in last place in the NL East, behind teams like Montreal, Philadelphia, Florida. You know, that doesn't sit well, obviously, in that city when you've got the Yankees across town off to their best start. The Mets are already the second team in New York, and then they just get pounded by the media for being as bad as they've been here in the first month. They already look like they're drooping, and they're ready to relent.
And what do you do? They've got so many guys with contracts you can't move.
Look at Rowland stealing third, trying to get one on Piazza. There he is, only 90 feet away. And there's another problem with the Mets. Mike Piazza behind the plate, and Scott Rowland took the extra base in a big play with 1 out.
That's always been the story. Why not make Piazza a first baseman? He's got a long-term contract. He has problems throwing. You know, he's a great offensive catcher, but it's tough to win when people can run at will.
And let's say this, that base was not stolen off Mike Piazza. That base was stolen off Al Leiter. Infield has to come in now for the play at the plate, and the count's 2-0 on Renteria. It's been said many times, second base is stolen off the catcher. Third base, more times than not, is stolen off the pitcher, and Leiter did not pay enough attention to Scott Rowland. The 2-0.
And Joe, that's maybe a good lesson for a lot of pitchers, is many times when you're getting beat around a little bit, you forget about secondary facets of the game. You concentrate so much of making good pitches, you forget about those base runners.
Renteria swinging on 3-0. And it's 3-1. One after ball 4, it looked like. So Art House signed up to try to guide this Mets ship after a great run out in Oakland. A little different story in Art's life this year as Renteria pounds one into left. Off the glove of Floyd. The defensive woes continue for the Mets. It's 4-0 Cardinals, and Renteria's in its second.
It's his 18th RBI. That ties Rowland for the team leadership. And Joe, it scored a double, but it almost appeared that he thought he was going to have to dive for the ball, and he didn't need to. He started sliding and everything. He just, you know, keep on running towards the plate. That's another one that should have been caught.
Well, that obviously that's a ball that's got to go. They rule it a double. It would have been an RBI, but Renteria standing at second with a gift double on a misplay in left field by Floyd, and now Marrero up there swinging from his heels. Strike one.
5 hits, 5 earned runs in 6 starts in the first inning. We got 4 runs right here, but we have 4 doubles out of the 5 hits so far.
Runner at second, 1 out. And that's in at the knees, 0-2. Now, if I recall correctly, prior to the game, Tony La Russa dubbed this a classic, and you went right along with him and said this would be a classic.
It's going to be a classic.
Okay.
A one-sided classic.
Okay. No balls, 2 strikes for the runner at second, 1 out. Al Leiter not getting help from his defense in this inning. Marrero, good base running by Renteria. How many times do you see a base runner hung up between second and third and a ball hit like that? And it's now 2 out with Matheny coming up.
Yeah, because you take your lead, then you take your secondary lead, and it's only instinctive to take another step or 2. But ball hit right back at Leiter, and he catches it and checks the runner, and Renteria goes back.
Well, who do you want to pitch to? Guy hitting 318 or a guy hitting 364 on deck?
They're going to pitch to Matheny.
Morris off to a good start with a bat, but they will at least initially challenge Matheny. He could pick up a big 2-out RBI. Ball 1. That might explain why.
Well, like you said, initially, unless he falls so far behind that they.
Then you got to throw those numbers out the door.
Sure.
Getting the inside corner on a cutter, and it's 1-1.
But you really got to, you've got to kick yourself when you've got an 8th place hitter you've had success against, because you always think you're going to get the first out the next inning against the pitcher. And Matty's swinging the bat and likes this run support.
A 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Long top of the first for Morris. A longer bottom of the first for Al Leiter.
Matty has pitched so well this year. As you see him kind of shallow in center and right. But his own lone win was an offensive route, 15-2.
In Milwaukee. 2-1 pitch. Good pitch. 2-2. That's got Matheny talking to himself. 8 men batting in the bottom of the first. After 6 went to the plate for the Mets, who left the bases loaded in the top of the first. A 2-2 pitch. Full count, and it's tough to gauge where the strike zone is tonight.
Look at, he's got to be talking to himself right there. Schreiber looks like he has no clue.
Full count. Renteria at second, 2 out. Matheny trying to pick up another run. Cardinals playing here in St. Louis. Houston hosting Atlanta. Chicago's out in San Francisco tonight. Will it stay in play? Will Piazza get there? What a great catch by Mike Piazza.
Absolutely.
Just a fantastic effort by the all-star catcher. That's as good as it gets. It took him a while to get there, but that's a interesting ending to a long first inning. The Cardinals lead by 4. The offense says, here you go, ace. Here's your 4 runs. Here's your 5 hits. We're going to play good defense behind you. Try not to shut it down for the rest of the night, but go get it. And Matt Morris, trying to win for the 2nd time this season, will deal with the bottom 3 in the order for the Mets, starting with Cedeno. Roger, 1 pitch. 0-1 up. Matt Jack and Ben Brooks watching on Fox Sports Net. All the Cardinal fans are happy to see the Cards come up with 4 runs against a tough one in Al Leiter in the first inning.
Probably happy to see the team wearing white uniforms.
I know that wasn't the longest road trip of all time in number of games, but it seemed like you guys were gone for an awfully long time.
Well, 15 out of the last 18 games were on the road.
With 1 out. Over but low, ball 1 to Jay Bell. The bespectacled Jay Bell.
Jay told me that he got the invite, an invitation to spring training after the pitchers and catchers reported. So A late start for him, pretty sore early in spring training. A little different when you got to make the ball club.
That's the stage in the career of Jay Bell where he finds himself that he is kind of on the outside looking in and was able to make this Mets team. Caught up with him before the game, and he's close to calling it quits.
Well, we both talked about it, that he really is an extension of the coaching staff right now. And he's kind of in between.
Full count.
And he's always been a good guy, and he knows people helped him on the way up, so he's really helping Wigington, and you know, and just also he can hear the you know, what Art Howe and his staff is saying, because he's not getting that much playing time. It'd be helpful to go and communicate with his teammates, so it's not really coming from Art or one of the coaches.
When the Pirates had the 3 consecutive division titles, winning the NL East, Jay Bell, playing short and batting the number 2 spot, was as valuable a guy on a high-profile team with Bonilla and Bonds and Van Slyke and all the others. But Bell was one of the guys who made that whole thing go. Breaking ball, and Bell tried to sell it, but took a quick left, and he's back to the dugout. Second strikeout victim for Matt Morris. Remember Mom this Mother's Day with the year's subscription to Cardinals Game Day magazine. That'll put a smile on her face. This month's issue features Tino Martinez on the cover and in a centerfold poster. That'll put a smile on her face. Calling out of order, 982-7336. Potentially a Cardinals magazine subscriber right there. A breaking ball to Leiter, and it's 1-1. Al, that's his career, 17th season. Always kind of jokes about his hitting. Every once in a while will come up with a big hit, but he's not one of the more dangerous pitchers with a bat in his hand.
No, he's not. 0 for 10 this year, but you have to respect him.
Well, I think it's a good idea just to respect all people, don't you?
Oh, yes.
I don't think you should not respect somebody for any reason. I think somebody like Al Leiter deserves respect when he's at the plate, when he's over a plate in a restaurant, or when he's on the mound. Wherever he goes, he
over a plate?
Respect. That's low. Look at this. It's 3-2.
See? That's respect. Now put him away, Matty.
Well, Leiter was backing out of there as Morris got the ball toward home plate. Interesting batting stance and a walk. There you go. 2-out walk to a guy who's hitless on the season. That'll bring in Alomar, and that'll make heads shake in the Cardinal dugout.
You brought up a good point, though, Joe. It looked like he was kind of falling away, bailing out of there, trying to trick him instead of just going right after him and throwing the fastball down and away. Let him roll over the top of it.
Eddie Goodell was not that big of a distraction in the batter's box. Leiter was crouched over. He was moving around, backing out of there. Alomar takes a breaking ball for strike 1.
Now Leiter's not going anyplace, so Albert playing behind him and then better defensive positioning.
Ball 1 strike. Alomar had a pretty good at bat against Morris his first time up and ended up flying out to left. And Matt does not appear to be exactly dialed in here tonight.
Not at all.
Already up to 50 pitches. He's not through 2 innings. So it's going to be a night for the bullpen before it's over, which I know will cause you all to stick around for the end. 3-1.
But as I said, Tony was hoping to give Calero, Eldred, Hermanson, and Klein another day off. They all pitched multiple innings on Sunday.
The old 2-out walk to the pitcher, Alomar. What was that? 3-2.
One Gold Glover checking out another Gold Glover. You see, you got maybe a little bit of a eye on where Rowan is. I'll take my chances.
Backing up is Cairo. Out of the inning is Morris. Over 50 pitches already. He's shaking his head, walking back to the dugout. Bad news is he's not exactly dialed in. The good news is that 4-0 Cards.
Thrown in the first 2 innings for Matt Morris as we welcome you back to Busch Stadium. Dan McLaughlin, Al Brabowski, and Joe Buck with a rain delay of 24 minutes to start this ball game, and we turn to our Nextel Direct Connect hits. Not just a hit, but hits. In the bottom of the first for St. Louis, Cairo, Edmonds, Pools, Roland, Renteria. The Cardinals picked up 5 hits, 4 runs. Scoring the runs was Cairo, Edmonds, Pools, and Roland. And the Cardinals getting this done against one of the game's best in Al Leiter. And Joe, I don't know from your vantage point what you guys think of the zone, but it has been certainly questionable. And we talked about Matt Morris throwing 53 pitches here in the first 2 innings, but I'm sure he's probably trying to figure out the zone just like the rest of us are.
Well, I think so far we've seen some inconsistencies, but it's early. Is that the good news or the bad news? We'll find out. Strike 1, now strike 2 to Matt Morris, who's leading it off with Cairo and Edmonds to follow. Morris, a .364 average, 4 out of 11 so far. For the Cardinal right-hander, 0-2 pitch. Ball 1 from Leiter. Career against the Mets, .357 average. He'll have his hands full with Leiter, and that does not catch the outside part of the plate. It counts 2-2. So Morris isn't going to give up. He'll battle. Stays 2-2. 8:22 on the scoreboard clock. It's at this time every Tuesday night at One Wonders who did well and who didn't do well on American Idol. 2-2 pitch. Hard hit right through Clark. Boy, these guys just are horrendous defensively.
Joe, I mentioned that doubleheader. They struck out 27 times and made 8 errors. Had one by every position except for the third baseman. There's the first one tonight.
Belongs to Tony Clark, who took over for Mo Vaughn, who left with a stomach virus. And if the defense continues like this, Al Leiter will leave with irritation to his stomach.
You know, and even Tom Glavine on Sunday made an error, and that was his first in 4 years.
1 on, nobody out. Cairo takes a strike. So Tom Glavine left the Braves. According to Tom and representatives and stories that I've read and heard from other people, the Braves didn't give him much of an opportunity to stay. Look at that. I mean, this is ridiculous. That's perennial Gold Glove Award winner Roberto Alomar not getting down on a squibbed ground ball to the right side.
Now, they may give this one a base hit, but earlier in his career, this would have been definitely an out at first base. Just didn't stay down on it. It is his second error. That is Alomar's third error already.
Home plate umpire and Jim Edmonds had a little discussion as Edmonds walked to the plate. Edmonds upset with a called strike during his first at bat. Walked out of the batter's box, walked out of the dirt area around home plate. The umpire followed him, and the two talked a bit as Edmonds climbs back in for a second try at it. Back-to-back errors to start the inning. And now the heart of the order, as Edmonds is granted time by the home plate umpire just before the pitch by Leiter.
It sure seems. I know the hitter is much closer than the pitcher, but it seems like they stop and put a pitcher in a very precarious situation. A chance to hurt themselves.
Everything's a little bit off tonight.
Everything is for the hitter. Come on.
2 on, nobody out. Ball 1. Defensively, they actually play Edmonds to hit it the other way. Right center field wide open. A lot of room down the right field line. Morris, the lead runner at second. Cairo on at first. An error by Clark, an error by Alomar. 1-0 pitch. Oh. Edmonds was leaning back, waiting for a pitch up and waiting to hit a tape measure home run.
You know, he's so good at picking up pitches, and sometimes they just say, you know, if I'm going to guess that it's going to be right there, and he's going for the upper deck. Other times what makes him and separates him is his ability to drive the ball the opposite field.
Another big swing, but this one just a pop-up. The Mets bench holds their collective breath as the center fielder Timo Perez puts it away. And it's 2 on with 1 out.
I almost think after seeing 2 errors, your center fielder would use 2 hands.
Batter will be Albert Pujols. Coming up next, the Midwest Sports Report. 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to teams throughout the Midwest. Cardinals Roundtable, Stanley Cup playoffs, and a post-game wrap from all of us here at Busch Stadium. That is immediately after the game. Right here on Fox Sports Net. Here's Albert. An RBI double. Run scored to his credit already. He leans back from ball 1.
You know, Joe, I went to Albert's golf tournament yesterday at Forest Hills. Had a great time, but you know, our good friend Mike LeBrod from Anheuser-Busch and SeaWorld donated a unique situation, a trip for 4 to SeaWorld and also to swim with the Dolphins. Andy McCullum of the Rams and Albert got in a little bidding contest for it. Albert won it at $3,000, and this was for Down syndrome.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Pujols lines one. Double play. And it's Morris who makes the base running mistake. Getting doubled off second. And Leiter gets around 2 defensive miscues behind him. We go to the 3rd, and the Cardinals lead it by 4.
Played 2 innings, and St. Louis has a 4-0 lead. They got 4 runs on 5 hits in the first inning. Talking about Albert's golf tournament, and then he got in this bidding for the SeaWorld package. He won it at $3,000, and everyone assumed, oh, that's nice, you're going to take your family. Well, this was for Down syndrome, and there are a couple young kids there from the Down syndrome, and as soon as Albert won it, he said, Catherine, it's your birthday tomorrow. You'll be 11 years old. You're going to SeaWorld. And there's another young boy there, Ethan, and he said, and I'm buying another package for you, Ethan, so your family can take you to SeaWorld.
He is so mature beyond his years, and as impressive as he has been since the second he got here to St. Louis, making the team out of spring training a couple of years ago. We have been as impressed with what he does off the field, the kind of young man that he's become already. So mature beyond his years, and well, he's nothing but a joy to be around, to watch him perform physically, and then to see what kind of a man he is and what kind of a generous person he is in this community, and wonderful father and husband to his wife. He is the complete package. That is hammered foul. We've seen 3 of those tonight, and I don't know if that's good news for the Cardinals, good luck for the Cardinals, or if the Mets are just saying it's more of the same, because they've hit a couple of rockets that have been fouled by at the most a couple of feet, and that's one off the bat of Timo Perez, who's now in the hole 1 and 2.
I'm a firm believer you make your good luck. You can sure wish yourself into bat.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Feel sorry for yourself, and the bad luck continues.
A 2-2 pitch. Perez. I don't know how he got the bat on the ball, but he did, and he stays alive.
Because it was going to hit him in the ankle.
Yeah. Cardinals will have Woody Williams on the mound tomorrow night, and that game will be right here on Fox Sports Net. Take on Pedro Estacio, who was activated and won his first start. Perez battling. Then it's Brett Tomko against Steve Traxel, and now I was watching the Tomko game down in Florida. He was phenomenal. I mean, he was so impressive in that game. Everything was down. His pitch location all night was sensational.
Well, and changing speeds.
That's a foul ball. Change-ups that were down.
Right, but you can tell he has already blended well with Dave Duncan. That's that outing you were talking about, and they have really come together and helped him to understand what his strengths are and how to utilize those strengths and improve some of his weaknesses.
The 2-2 pitch. Perez pops it into left for Marrero. And the leadoff man is gone. He gave flashes bad night of the Cardinals having a 1-2-3 in their rotation that they can really hang their hat on, with Morris, Williams, and Tomko, who's just getting into the prime years of his career. If you'd like to win Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion, here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63177. Here's Cliff Floyd with one out. There's ball one.
And if you think about it, Joe, then Simon Tachi and also Garrett Stevenson pitched extremely well. Had victories taken away from him.
1-0 pitch. 1-1. Simon Tachi was much better his last time out. The bullpen couldn't hang on to a lead for him. And Stevenson looked like the Stevenson of a few years ago on Sunday before the ninth inning collapse. The count 1-2. And so we've asked them to sit together here in the third inning so we could talk about it. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Morris to Floyd. Into center field. Puts a charge into it. Back is Edmonds, and another fantastic catch by Jim Edmonds. 2 out.
Boy, did he get on his horse and close the gap quite a bit. That ball is going to be slicing away from him coming off the bat of Floyd. So a long run, running along the fence, reaching out, then starting to stop yourself. Well, that's one way. You run into the fence, spin off a little bit. A terrific play. And that will get another one for the highlight film. Best center fielder in the National League.
You get no argument out of anybody that watches the Cardinals on a regular basis. There's nobody better. Now Piazza with 2 out and nobody on. That's a big play with a guy like Piazza coming up. And it's also the big difference between these two high-priced teams. The Cardinals have a defense that helps them win ball games, and the Mets have a defense that's costing them ball games in the first month of the season. Good pitch. Piazza jammed, and Albert Pujols takes care of it. Down goes the heart of the order. 1, 2, 3. Matt Morris with a quick third inning, and he needed that. He gets help. Edmonds does his thing in center. Still 4-0.
2 and lead it by the score of 4-0. All the scoring done in the first inning. Now leading things off, it'll be Eduardo Perez against Al Leiter. We were talking, guys, about how this guy is one of the best left-handers and pitchers in the game of baseball. Last year, Eduardo Perez got off to a slow start, but at the end of April, he started to come around. One of his big hits was off of Al Leiter in a game that the Cardinals would win, and then later in a game that the Cardinals would actually lose. He also went deep against Leiter. He also made a great defensive play in right field with a catch, taking a home run away against Mo Vaughn later that game. So Eduardo Perez will lead things off. And by the way, as I scour through my game notes, the Cardinals are proud to announce that Joe Buck, the lead announcer for Fox Baseball and Football, was named yesterday as the Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Writers and Sports Announcers Association of America. Congratulations, Mr. Buck, and it's well deserved.
Thank you very much, Dan, and it's because of the great people that I work with. We all know that. 1-0 pitch to Perez is in for a strike. 1-1. Whether it's you or it's Al or it's our great Blood Sports crew or the guys on the network side, they prop me up, paint me up with makeup, and make me look good. There's one into left field. Was that report on time? You bet. Home run, Eduardo Perez. 5-0 Cardinals as Perez gets Leiter again.
First home run allowed in 32 2/3 innings, and Eduardo gets it. It's his 3rd of the year, 7 RBIs. Take a look at it. High pitch, tries to go up and in on him and doesn't get it in there quick enough, and he turned on it.
Now rolling. Almost looked like Piazza was crossed up on that pitch. Called high for ball 1. It was probably a fluke, Al, that Perez found his name on the lineup card. I'm sure Tony La Russa wasn't aware that he hit 2 home runs against Leiter last year.
I'm sure that's the truth.
Tony lives for that kind of stuff. That's why he's a manager. He loves those matchups, and he pulled the right string tonight, putting Eduardo Perez in there. First time up, made an out with 2 on and nobody out. This time up, hits a home run to make it 5-0. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rolen, who had 2 RBIs, a double, a stolen base, and a run scored in the first.
That last swing was the same pitch to Perez, but further in.
Rolen's gone. Strikeout is the second. They can't even throw the ball around the horn. Second of the night for Leiter as he rings up Scott Rolen. 1 out.
Joe, I know you've been paying close attention, but isn't it amazing that the Cardinals lead the league in fewest strikeouts as for their hitters?
What a difference from a couple of years ago.
That's exactly right. You know, when you put the ball in play, and that was one of the things that Mitch made for Hollywood Page. His goal was to put the ball in play.
Plus Ron Gantz in Oakland. 1 ball, 1 strike on Renteria.
McGuire's retired.
He's watching.
I hope so. When he's not changing diapers.
He is the proud dad of one Max McGuire, and Mark was actually in town this past weekend. He is a stealth celebrity. To the left side, Wigginton gathers it, throws it, 2 out. Renteria is retired. The batter will be Marrero. Look at that. You got to give the guy a tip for just pulling that off. Selling juice from his cap. 370-foot home run out, so you can mark that down in your ledger. Off the bat of Perez. And the fireworks and pyrotechnics after have caused a San Francisco-esque moment here in St. Louis. Look at that, everybody. Although he's using his left hand.
Yeah.
I was right. The other guy was hands-free. 2 balls, no strikes on Marrero.
One was from the Caribbean.
Right. With 2 out, Eli. And to left center field. How far will that carry? Back is Floyd. Is there room? Yep. The inning is over. So after the leadoff home run, the Cards go in order, but there was a leadoff home run. Out of the hand of Leiter, off the bat of Eduardo Perez. Smiles, smiles, everyone, smiles. 5-0 Cardinals. Our Aflac trivia question is, that always makes you smile, Al, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What's the longest game in Major League history? By time. Not by innings. By time. Not what seemed like the longest, but actual time.
I was at the ballpark for this game. Tony managed it.
Tony Clark is at the plate. First at bat, took over for Mo Vaughn, who left after the top of the first with a stomach virus. And Tony Clark, an easy one for Matt Morris. Last 4 outs have come relatively easily for Matt Morris after struggling through the first 2. Coca-Cola Helmet Day is this Sunday against Montreal, a 1:10 start. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a Cardinals helmet, compliments of Coca-Cola. This Sunday, Cards and Expos, and it'll be Matt Morris against Javier Vasquez. Great pitching matchup. And if you haven't looked, Montreal Expos are good. Call 421-2400. Log on to stlcardinals.com for tickets. 1 ball, no strikes. On Wigginton. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if you hand me cotton candy, 'cause Mom is paying. She's eating peanuts. How much did this treat cost? For its $7 at the old ballpark.
And a dentist visit.
For little Jimmy. 2 out, nobody on, and Roger Cedeno comes up. Thanks, Mom. I'll be up all night as your reward for buying me this. Sugar for everyone. Breaking ball for ball one to Roger Cedeno. Yeah, she's saying thank you now. She'll be cursing whoever brought that by later. 2 balls, no strikes on Cedeno. Roger is not off to a very good start.
Switch hitter, but batting under 200, left-handed.
And, ladies and gentlemen, he is hitting left-handed as we speak. 2-1 the count.
See, stuff like that got you to that.
That's it.
Got you to Salisbury, North Carolina.
That's the stuff that they overlooked. 2 balls, 2 strikes now after the count was 2-0. Pitch number 77 out of the hand of Morris. Off the bat of Cedeno and foul down the right side where Oquendo bobbles it. And we'll flip it to, take my word for it, it happened. 77 pitches. 30 of which have missed the floating strike zone. Got under it, into center. Edmonds on the move. This is routine. He could catch it in his back pocket. He almost did. The inning is over. That is 6, 7 in a row retired by Matt Morris. Cardinals lead by 5. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Subway. Try one of Subway's Chicken International subs on new gourmet bread. Subway, eat fresh. And by Aflac. Ask about it at work. Little ice cream treat on a nice Tuesday evening in downtown St. Louis. 12 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you. Let's see. Our question was, Al, you say you were there.
Yep.
The longest game in Major League history by time, 8 hours, 6 minutes.
Well, it's deceiving because in the American League they have a curfew. So it went 2 days. They ended it on the 8th, resumed it before the regularly scheduled game on the 9th. And if I'm not mistaken, Tom Seaver, pitching for Tony La Russa and the White Sox, was the starter for the game on the 9th. He finished up the suspended game, got the win, and then won the second game. So he got 2 wins on the same day. Finished the suspended game, then went ahead and started his regular game and got the win in that one too.
1 ball, 1 strike on Matheny. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was back in sports time days.
I remember those days as a fan sitting at home watching sports time. They were a little ahead of their time.
They were.
A 1-2 pitch. Mike's average at 315. He got the day off on Sunday and
He got more than Eli did.
Caught 11 innings.
Oh, gee, his pitchers did pretty good.
He caught all shutout innings.
All shutout innings. Give you a day off and you catch 11.
Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Al Leiter to Mike. Matheny fouled out his first time, strikes out this time. Cards fans, on Thursday, May 15th, the Cardinals play the Reds. This is May 15th. It's Auto Tire Uniroyal Tire Day at Busch Stadium. All fans 16 and over will have a chance to win one of 8 sets of Uniroyal tires courtesy of Auto Tire. Winners will be picked between innings throughout the game. Thursday, May 15th. Cardinals tangle with the Reds. 314-421-2400 or stlcardinals.com for tickets. Morris reached on an error his first time, then Cairo reached on an error by Alomar. But Edmonds fly to center and Pujols lined into a double play. Cardinals got 4 in the first and then added 1 in the 3rd inning on a leadoff home run by Eduardo Perez. A 1-1 pitch with 1 out. Line drive is foul. He's a threat.
Swinging the bat well this year. He's 4 for 12. There he lines one, and it's going to slice into the stands.
What you can do when you're a 22-game winner, you can work on your hitting in the offseason. Get the other part figured out.
Sure. Yeah, Woody Williams, a good hitting pitcher. Tomko's good hitter. Famatachi.
Morris chops one foul. Stevenson isn't.
Stevenson isn't. But everyone in the batter's box is a threat.
And you have to respect them. A 2-2 pitch. Oh, Morris with his knees buckling. Back-to-back strikeouts for Leiter and 4 on the night.
Take away his first inning, and it would just be the Perez home run. The Cardinals got 4 more in the first.
And if butterflies didn't have wings, they'd call them butter walkers, mister. However, you can't take that away.
Now, whose quote is that?
I don't know, but I've heard you say it at least 7 times.
And I've always given credit to Bob Gibson.
2 out, nobody on. Cairo.
Matt kind of just joining himself with that wild swing, and they're talking to him a little bit. It's not what we need.
Well, there's kind of a give in or a cave in by Morris on that little check swing, and he immediately winces. So something happened there. Just have to see how serious. As Cairo rolls the wrists and gets into one to center. Timo Perez won't get there, and Cairo has his second double of the night.
Cairo came in 1 for 14 against left-handers, and he's always hit them very well, and in this ballpark nearly a 300 hitter. So it's 2 for 3. However, he reached 2 doubles and reached on an error, and they were playing him around to right, and he shot the ball into left center. You know, Morris went down, left the dugout, went down into the tunnel, and here he's coming back up and looks a little better, but you know he's going to try and gut it out for at least one more.
It's Joe Girardi with a jacket on. He's feeling better.
Yep.
Wondering what his next move is. That's not certain yet, but he's more optimistic about a return. Runner at second, 2 out for Edmonds, who takes a strike. And now Edmonds and Paul Schreiber, the umpire, talk it over again.
But at least he disguises it with the eyelash trick.
The old eyelash trick.
It's been around for years.
The 0-1 pitch. See Edmonds do that a lot. We saw him last at bat lean back and try to catch a pitch up and hit it into the upper deck this time. A little late reaction and has to kind of fall out of the way of the pitch, which he does quite a bit. Gets a reaction out of the crowd, but there's nothing to it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Almost took off. 2-1.
Yeah, a lot of clubs will try and pitch him inside to intimidate him a little bit, but when they pitch him inside and they go away, that's when he is so dangerous. Play him a little bit as if he was a right-handed hitter, and I think that's the proper approach. Straight away and right.
3-1. On deck is Albert. Look at his average, 382. Already has a hit in this game against the left-hander.
Quite a start for Edmonds.
That's on the corner. Edmonds won't like it. It's a full count.
Breaking ball out there, you know, frees you inside by the angle that he throws across his body. Edmonds leading the National League in batting, slugging, and on-base percentage.
But not the major leagues in batting. That distinction belongs to Alfonso Soriano of the Yankees. Edmonds strikes out and the inning is over. So the 2-out double and Cairo's left standing there. Cardinals strand only their 3rd of the night. We go to the 5th. We'll keep a close eye on Matt Morris. He and the Cardinals lead 5-zip. 5-0 as Matt Morris appears to be okay after initially getting some attention in the dugout after that odd swing. And the first pitch is called high, I guess, for ball one. You see the pitch total 78. The first two compared to the last two. Morris finally reining it into the strike zone and a little more effective. 1 ball, 1 strike now on Jay Bell. It'll be Bell, then Leiter, and he is in the on deck circle. Good breaking ball, strike 2. Then Alomar. There's nobody warming up for the Mets in their bullpen. 1-2. Check swing, he went, and Bell is gone. 1 away. Dan McLaughlin standing by with some info. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Joe. We were talking about this team and the Mets not being a very good defensive team. As a matter of fact, they rank second from the bottom, and now with 2 errors here tonight, 30 on the season as a team. It started in the first when the Cardinals got 4 doubles. This was ruled a double, not an error. That was Renteria to Cliff Floyd. Tony Clark filling in for Mo Vaughn makes a mistake. Roberto Alomar, one of the best second basemen defensively, makes a mistake on Miguel Cairo. And speaking of Mr. Cairo, he puts away Al Leiter. So this team second from the bottom right now in the National League as far as fielding percentage. Now they have 30 errors on the season with 2 here tonight. The only team that's been worse in the field has been Cincinnati. We know where they stand in the NL Central, but obviously not a very good start here for Art Howe in the first 4 weeks of the regular season.
They have the biggest payroll in the National League. They are an old team. Their usual starting 8 is not a young group, so you can't look at the errors and say, well, they're young guys, they're learning. But they're stuck, like you said, Al, because they're always in a position in New York where they never want to give up and say, we're getting rid of guys, we're packing it in for the season, we're going to regroup for next year, because they get completely lost and even more dominated by the Yankees. They're always stuck that way, but now they're locked into so many long-term deals to older players that they're really in a position where they're unable to get rid of guys and change directions and get younger, faster, and start building for the future.
Yeah, let me give another interpretation of their 30 errors. The Cardinals have committed 12 and only 1 in their last 8 games, counting tonight.
Well, you look at Mo Vaughn at first, is certainly not a young player. Roberto Alomar is playing the back 9. You've got, a shortstop, Ray Sanchez, who's bothered with a sore throwing elbow. He's off to a slow start. All the way around, with the exception of Wigginton and Perez, this is an older Mets team. Another quick and easy inning for Matt Morris. Good one tonight for the Cards, up by 5. Fox Sports Net introduces 5-4-3-2-1, the only show taking you inside the world of extreme sports every weeknight. BMX rider Kip Williamson, free surfer Chad Towersey, and Leanne Tweeden are the experts, bringing you the entire world of extreme sports all in one place with breaking news, event highlights, and insider features you won't find anywhere else. 5-4-3-2-1 at 10:30, only on Fox Sports Net. Here's Pujols with Perez to follow, and then Scott Rowland with the Cards up by 5. Bottom of the 5th. Into right field, pretty well hit. Back is Cedeno. 1 out. Cedeno is anything but sure-handed and sure-footed in the outfield.
He looked like he kind of jumped for that ball and threw his arm up.
What'd Perez do, Al, back in the 3rd inning?
I think he hit his 3rd home run ever off of Leiter.
Looked like that. It traveled 370 feet up into the seats. Made it 5-0, and Matt Morris has kept it at 5-0. And now here he is, 2 home runs against Leiter last year, 1 tonight already. 1 out, nobody on. 1. Good matchup tomorrow night. We always seem to do the Woody Williams games together, and he will take on Pedro Estacio, a guy who's been tough against the Cardinals in years past. And again, as we mentioned earlier, Tomko will take on Traxel in an early 12-10 start on Thursday before the Expos come to town. 2-0. 2-1. Leiter is About as animated as any pitcher on the mound, with different facial expressions and movements that he makes. There's another rocket into left field. Did he get enough? Into the corner and caught by Floyd. Good play. 2 out. You talk about a confident hitter. My gosh.
Well, that's sometimes you get that way, and that was more indicative of Floyd's athletic ability, as he made a nice play on that ball into the corner.
He's had some leg trouble early in the season, and after he made that catch, he broke into a limp. As Roland digs in with 2 out, nobody on. Ball 1. Scott, an RBI double, a stolen base. A run scored back in the first, struck out in the third. 18 RBIs to go with his 5 home runs, and with his hit tonight, his average is at 250.
Scotty came in batting .400 against lefties with a pair of home runs.
2-1.
Added that for 1 for 2.
Talk about a solid, hard-nosed player. Oh, night after night, day after day. This is about as good as it gets in the big leagues. Scott Rowland.
Joey, it's a perfect team. You got some established stars on this club, guys that are a little more media savvy. Just let him play.
Rowland frustrated as he flips the bat down, and Alomar has to back out a long way to put that away. 4 in a row retired by Leiter. And the first 1-2-3 inning for the left-hander. Let's go to the 6th. 5-0 Cards. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By Kia, makers of a full line of quality cars. Kia, make every mile count. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. From outside Busch Stadium, inside Busch Stadium. Some Twins on hand watching as Timo Perez looks at ball 1 from Matt Morris.
Matty hasn't allowed a hit since the first inning, and only a walk to Al Leiter in the second, and everything else has just been straight up and straight down.
Really helped out by his defense back in the 3rd inning. Terrific running catch by Jim Edmonds to rob Cliff Floyd. There's a good breaking ball. It's 1-2. Here's an important inning, though. 6th inning, with Floyd and Piazza to follow Perez. Timo's hitting 250.
Pitch count creeping up too.
This will not be a complete game effort, you wouldn't think, from Matt Morris because of the struggles in the first 2 innings. Good pitch. Still 1-2. Already up to 92 pitches. We're only in the 6th.
And Matty's really pitched well since the first couple batters. Remember, that's what did him in last time, the back-to-back home runs in the first inning. Changing speeds, changing the eye level with pitching up and down.
Big question is, who will get the nod out of the bullpen? 2-2.
Based on what Tony said, it's Springer and Facero. It's trying to give the other guys an extra night off.
Good start to the inning as Morris takes care of Perez. Our What's on Tap brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. There is the starter for tomorrow. Woody Williams against Pedro Estacio.
Wonder if that'll be a classic.
Well, this was billed as a classic.
I said a one-sided classic.
All right. Cliff Floyd robbed his last time up. Won't be robbed this time. Slicing away from Marrero in left field. Eli will not be able to hold Floyd to a single, and Cliff breaks it down going into second with a double. So Perez strikes out. Floyd doubles, and now Piazza and Clark will try to do some damage for the Mets.
been going in and out. You see an off-speed pitch, kind of up a little bit, out away from him. And they see where Morero did not come into your pitcher for a long time as that ball was sliced away from him.
Piazza. Well, one down and in. This, and I think it would be even more true if Morris is to get through the 6th inning, is yet another good start by the Cardinal rotation, and it's been a nice string of that for the Cardinals over the past couple weeks. 1 ball, 1 strike. The problem, obviously, and this is almost in the category of piling on, rests with the Cardinal bullpen, and hopefully the Cardinals can take something out of those 11 shutout innings that they put up in Florida on Sunday morning, afternoon, and night. A 1-1 pitch. Piazza hops up.
You know, Joe, the offense has been so good. They've dropped to 2nd in the National League, 1 percentage point behind the Atlanta Braves. But there's been a lot of games where we have not scored as many runs as you think this offense would produce. You know, the Cardinals have scored more than 3 runs in now 14 of their 23 games.
They've won only one one-run game. They've blown 7 saves. They've seen the opposition win 5 times in their final at bat. It's been almost a season's worth of heartache along those lines, and we're only through basically 1 month of the season. Now the count's 3-1 on Piazza, and that Cardinal dugout, in particular La Russa and Duncan, have to start to get concerned about Morris and how much more he has left, as he has hit the 100 pitch mark.
So in a lot of innings and a lot of 100+ pitch counts for this early in the season.
A 3-1 to Piazza. You know what he's capable of doing. He was trying to. That's out of play. So it's a full count. Again, Mike has hit 3 home runs and driven in a total of 4 runs. And Morris is right at his average. The 120+ pitch game was that crushing loss in Houston. And the Kent home run. They won it. 3-2 pitch. Line drive into right center field. Edmonds on the run. Can't get there. Floyd will come home. Back-to-back doubles. And it's now a 5-1 Cardinal lead. Edmonds about a step and a half away from another spectacular catch, and with his hands on his hips, Piazza saying that felt good, finally getting an RBI.
Well, he's 2 for 3 today. Continues his good hitting against Matt Morris, and there's his 5th RBI on the season, only the 2nd other than home runs. But this ball laced out there. Edmonds was just about to dive, but he realized he could not come up with it. Wasn't going to catch it. And you can do that when you know your right fielder is going to be backing up the play.
Now it's Tony Clark, runner at 2nd, only 1 out. Still no action for the Cardinals in their bullpen, and that runs Clark off the plate.
Switch hitter. Big guy with Detroit the last few years.
Had kind of a wasted time in Boston. Didn't do much with the Red Sox. And now, after having a very good spring with the Mets, is off to a 286 start and has 4 home runs and only 28 at bats. Started the season hurt. The 1-1. 2. This will probably be it if Morris can get through the inning. He's got a tough hitter at the plate now, and Wigginton, the rookie, on deck, trying to keep it a 4-run game. Into left field. That's well hit. The ball's jumping tonight. Back at the wall is Morero for the 2nd out. 2 down.
Mike Piazza still standing at 2nd base. He knows he messed up there. It should have been at 3rd.
So now it's Wigginton with a runner at 2nd, 2 out.
Watch this. He's going to be caught or it's going to be a home run. So get back and tag up. Just watch him. Halfway, Mike. Now go back and tag up. Now it's too late.
And you may say, well, there's 2 outs now. What's the big deal? Well, it's not a sure bet that a base hit to one of the outfielders, Piazza scores. Take an extra base if you can get it. Piazza didn't do it.
Base hit in the infield. He scores from third, but not from second.
1 ball, 1 strike as a breaking ball drops into Wigginton, who had a very good at bat his first time up, but grounded out, robbed by Renteria with the bases loaded in the first inning and 2 out. That was a Pennzoil protection play in the first, and we said then we might be talking about it later, and here we are.
Well, you know, in all one-sided classics, it's that play in the first inning that could
make the difference.
Make the difference.
2-1 pitch is slammed into center field. Watch out here. Back at the track, at the wall. Edmonds can't make the catch. In to score is Piazza. Going to third is Wigginton, and it's a 5-2 game. Jim Edmonds, instead of getting back, trying for the spectacular catch over the shoulder and could not make connection with it.
You know, so he kind of lost sight of it. I think he initially thought it was going to go out, but he had time, Joe, as you say, to go to the wall, turn around, and make a fairly easy catch. But turning around and looking around like that stopped his forward progress.
Now base hit can make it a 2-run game as Roger Cedeno bats. Runner at third, 2 out. Ball 1.
I think Jimmy would tell you he would have played that a lot different if he had it to do over again.
So 3 extra base hits, and you can just see by the body language of Matt Morris his frustration that that ball did not end the inning. Morris from the windup, missing 2-0.
Well, he's kind of going on fumes right now, and Matheny going to talk to him. You cannot let defensive mistakes ruin your night, and you really have to sit there and take the attitude, and I'm sure this is what Mike is reminding. Just sit there and say, Matty, you're one of the best in the league. You've got to show your defense. They've already made some nice plays for you. You got to show them that you can make that play, not come back and hurt us anymore.
It's cost the Cardinals 1 run. Morris trying to keep it just the 1. 2 balls, no strikes. Runner at third, 2 out. And that's foul. 2-1. Renteria's made a tremendous play in this game. Edmonds has made a fantastic catch in this game. But that ball stayed in the park. Fell in for an RBI triple, and now a 2-1 pitch. Cedeno clubs one foul down the right field line.
Now with the possibility of the pitcher spot coming up, David Weathers, the right-hander thrown in the Mets bullpen. Still no activity in the Cardinals pen.
Wigginton at third with 2 down. 2-2. Got him on the inside corner, and Matt Morris, if that was his last pitch of the night, finishes strong with a strikeout. But the Mets are on the board. They get 2 runs in the 6th inning. As we go to the bottom half, it's 5-2 St. Louis. Explore Cardinal baseball by arriving at the game in your new Ford Explorer with $3,000 cash back or 0% financing to qualified buyers. Ford and your quality Ford stores, your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Very much into the charge was that young man, as the Cardinal bullpen will get busy, and we move to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Cardinals up 5-2. Renteria with Marrero next. Looks at ball 1. This will be the last inning for Leiter, as he's due up 2nd in the 7th.
And we would think, with Morris throwing 115 pitches, that he's probably through. Russ Springer throwing in the bullpen.
1-0 pitch. 101 pitches on the night for Leiter. And we'll try to keep it a 3-run game. On 1-1, Renteria takes ball 2. 3-1, Atlanta leads at Houston in the bottom of the 8th behind Maddox against Oswalt. Chicago at San Francisco later as Dusty Baker returns to the Bay Area with the Cubs. 3-1, and Leiter doesn't look like he has much left.
Leiter is due up second in the Mets 7th.
On 3-1. Just caught the inside corner, full count. Renteria tonight's 1 for 2, hitting .327, and that's down the right field line, slicing toward the seats, and it is caught. Foul ball for the out. One away. Purely guesswork from up here because we can't see the corner. But this is what it looked like, and Cepino almost overran it.
Yeah. Jumping. Almost, she said, overrunning it. Look at this, a little bit behind him.
Here's Marrero with 1 out, nobody on. Cardinals got 4 runs in the first, a run in the third, and a home run by Perez. They've been shut out since by Leiter. He's done at least a good enough job to keep his team in it. And the Mets are creeping back. 1 ball, 1 strike on Marrero.
Well, the Mets know about the Cardinal bullpen problems. Told you Russ Springer and Facero are the only 2 that Tony would like to use tonight.
It's like Kazoo of the Flintstones popping down on the shoulder of Dave Duncan as he warms up. Marrero into left center field. That ball's pretty well hit. Back is Floyd. 2 down. That's the second time Marrero has hit one to deep left, only to see it tracked down by Cliff Floyd. 2 out.
Marrero knew he hit it well, but not good enough. And Tony lamented the fact that Marrero hit a home run in Florida. Said, I wish it just would have been a single. Sometimes, he says, Marrero loves to hit home runs, so you try for him, and usually you fall short.
Here's Matheny now with 2 out and nobody on. Ball 1. So Springer will take over, it appears, in the 7th inning. And he'll have Jay Bell, then a pinch hitter, then Alomar. And it's going to be up to the Cardinal bullpen to maintain a lead handed them by Matt Morris. Matheny with a base hit, his first of the night. And that's a plus, even though it's a 2-out single, because it gets the number 9 spot out of the way. Delgado will pinch hit for Matt Morris, and then the Cardinals don't even have to think about a double switch when they make the pitching change. Sunday, May 18th, the Cardinals play the Cubs. It's Kansas City Life Insurance Card Set Day, a 1:10 start. All fans 15 and over with a paid admission receive a set of 27 baseball cards featuring the 2003 Cardinals team. Sunday, May 18th, Cards hosting Chicago. 421-2400. Log on to stlcardinals.com for tickets. Congratulations to Matt Morris from his teammates, but everybody in the dugout and every Cardinal fan knows that this one's a long way from being over as Wilson Delgado digs in, batting for Matt Morris, who went 6 innings tonight, allowing 2 runs on 5 hits. Delgado takes a strike. Morris struck out 5 and walked 2.
3 for 18, 2 from 9 from the right side for this switch hitter.
Haney at first. Delgado takes a ball.
Leiter hoping to face his final hitter of the night, as they will pinch hit for him.
Little broken bat flare that's going to drop in for a hit. Matheny will not test Timo Perez, and it's 2 on for Cairo. So maybe more than just getting the number 9 spot out of the way, the Cardinals can turn back-to-back 2-out hits into something that puts an extra run or 2 up on the board.
Broken bat, but muscles it far enough to get it over the head, and the infielders, shallow center field, and Leiter feels like he should have been rewarded for a better pitch. Trying to get on top, get a little tired, your arm angle drops a little bit. Animated out there on the mound, talking to himself, trying to coax himself along.
Just watching Edmonds come into the on-deck circle. I'll tell you what he did after this pitch to Cairo. 2 on with 2 out. Miguel Cairo tonight with a pair of doubles. Been on base 3 times. Good swing. Strike 1. Edmonds was walking out into the on-deck circle, and I just happened to glance down at him. He caught somebody's attention in the seats, put his fingers up to his nose like that stunk, and he was talking about that play in the top of this 6th inning that he didn't get back on. Tried to catch it over his shoulder, and it cost the Cardinals a run. So he knows it. 2 on with 2 out in the 0-1. 1-2. Play Cairo to hit it the other way, and Miguel just trying to guard the plate and put it in play now that he's set up at 0-2. See if Leiter makes a mistake.
It's interesting because I think that he would pull the ball. I'm going to try and go up and in on it.
And Cairo lays off. He has pulled Leiter tonight.
Right. I mean, so I disagree with their defensive alignment. Since he has been here, he's been more of a pull hitter. As they're playing him around to right. And then, you know, Leiter pitches a lot inside. I know he's trying to mix things up and throw more pitches on both sides of plate.
2 on, 2 out. 5-2 Cardinals in the 6th, and Cairo pops it up. That should do it for the Cards. And it does. The Cardinals get 2 hits. Lead 2 has stranded 5 tonight, and we go to inning number 7. It's time for the Cardinal bullpen. What will happen tonight? Call to the bullpen brings Russ Springer to the mound for the 7th inning. Bottom part of the order coming up to start it for the Mets. The numbers for Springer, big ERA, and part of that 9th inning meltdown in Florida on Sunday, which led to, ironically enough, Al, outstanding work out of the Cardinal bullpen. 11 shutout innings the rest of the way.
Yeah, and you see what their ERA was through the 9th inning on Sunday, 5.31, but with the 11 scoreless innings from the bullpen, the ERA dropped to its current 4.52. You know, Springer, Joe, really, the opposition has only hit 225 against him. His biggest problem is he's allowed 4 home runs.
Wilson Delgado, who pinch hit, stays in the game. It'll bat in the number 9 spot. So Cairo is finished for the night. That's where the pitcher is sitting now in the leadoff spot, 9 places away. And now here's Jay Bell leading off against Springer. Former teammates in Arizona, and that's a strike. Bell, then a pinch hitter, and then Alomar.
Raul Gonzalez going to pinch hit.
1 ball, 1 strike for Springer.
You know, by putting Springer in Cairo's spot, you insert Delgado in this game and you help yourself defensively.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and a strike from Springer. David Weathers getting ready for the Mets out in their bullpen. He'll likely take over in the bottom of the 7th. What will the score be? 3-1 on the leadoff hitter, Jay Bell. Now, you've been a part of many bullpens, and I want to ask you what the mentality is when things start sliding. Taking the 11 shutout innings away on Sunday, it was still a collapse in the 9th inning, and I was interested to read Steve Klein's quotes today as the count goes full about guys looking over their shoulder and worrying about things too much as opposed to just doing their job. And Bell pops it up. So Springer comes back from a 3-1 count And he gets Jay Bell on a fly out to right. Important to get the leadoff man.
Yeah, I thought it was particularly interesting that it came off those comments from Steve Klein. Where does he got to look over his shoulder at? Somebody else may be looking over their shoulder, but you know, there's really not a much help out there. Everybody's looking for relief pitching. As you see, Facero will start taking the mound. This is Raul Gonzalez.
Off to a .353 start, 6 out of 17. The one guy who really doesn't get talked about, or at least haven't heard much said about him, who really hurt the Cardinals by not being effective in the spring, is Crudale.
Yeah, and he is pitching again. And the other day I understood he faced 3 guys, struck out 2 of them.
It's a lot easier to let Rick White and others leave Dave Veers when you have Crudale have the kind of year he had last year, and he came to spring training and he was so ineffective that the Cardinals had to send him out. Before this is all said and done, he'll be back here and be a big part of the bullpen, I would predict. The 1-1 pitch. Good delivery, but Springer doesn't get it. 2-1.
Yeah, he could be back as early as this week. I see Facero throwing, but you're right, because he all along was part of the initial plans.
The 2-1. 94 miles an hour from Springer, and the count's even.
Crudale was going to be your 8th inning man, and even with Isringhausen out, and probably for another month, you know, he would be one of the guys that you would look for to close. So that's another aspect that has really compounded the problem.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Raul Gonzalez off the bench batting for Leiter, strikes out. 2 gone.
There's Ankiel and Gibson. What's Pujols doing in that group?
Just talking ball. Well, 2 up, 2 down. Here's Alomar, who so far tonight is 0 for 3. That was against Morris. Now Springer. A bunt right back to Springer. That was a gift. And the Mets go in order in the 7th. So good work by Russ Springer. 1 shutout inning from the right-hander. Cardinals lead by 3. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with lower fares, and by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. Well, this being the bottom of the 7th inning, we congratulate Jason Bayer, today's merchandise prize winner in the Hyundai Long Drive inning sweepstakes. The Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th. Jason Bayer will qualify for the grand prize drawing of a Hyundai Elantra GT at the end of the season. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer, complete an entry form. And what's his name? Jason?
Yes.
Jason, you get Edmonds, Pujols, and Eduardo Perez.
Got a good shot, Jason. Had a lot of winners this year qualify.
Jim Edmonds will deal with the new pitcher for the New York Mets. His name, David Weathers, and a ground ball up the middle. Bell didn't look like he was ready for the pitch, but recovers to get Edmonds 1 out. Weathers has been busy. He has been the workhorse out of the bullpen already. 13 games, now 14 for the right-hander, who we have seen with the Yankees, the Brewers, the Cubs. He's been around, and he, Al, is a reliable right-handed reliever and has been for a while.
He has, and you know, he's, like you say, he's very durable. With the Mets last year, 6-3 ERA, under 3 in 71 ball games.
Pujols takes a strike. An RBI double in the 1st inning, scored a run. A 4-run 1st inning, and the Cardinals are predominantly riding that right now as they lead at 5-2, 0-2 on Pujols. Ball 1 from Weathers. Pujols hitting .349. Has Albert ever hit the 200s in the big leagues?
Not even for a day.
I know. It's like he starts at 300 and just plays around above that mark for the entire season. Pujols squirts it foul.
You know, it's on a team with so many good players. And you can make a strong case for many of them being the best player. You know, you can't overlook this 3-year player. I mean, 3 years in the big leagues, and he has been phenomenal.
The 2-2. Just got a piece. Piazza couldn't hang on.
The Yankees have Soriano, and here is Albert Pujols. His first 2 years of the big leagues were the best rookie season and the best second-year season of anybody in the history of the game.
A 2-2. Count.
Such a good 2-strike hitter. He makes adjustments on the fly. There was another pretty good hitter. Boy, we got all the stars are out here tonight, huh?
Full count with 1 out, nobody on. Weathers deals and Pujols grounds. And Wigginton let it eat him up. Backed up on it, and Pujols is thinking about going to second, but scampers back to first. 1 on, 1 out. Perez coming up, and we look at the Mad Hungarian Legends Classic.
Yeah, look at this. We're going to have a party on June the 1st at the Ritz-Carlton. You can a ticket if you're a golfer. You'll get a ticket for that, but we also have opportunities for non-golfers. Then on Monday at Algonquin, 9 a.m. shotgun, continental breakfast, awards, luncheons, all the cart fees and everything scheduled here. Hall of Famers, Raleigh Fingers, Ozzie Smith, other guys like Vida Blue, Luis Tiant, George Foster, Andy Bennis will be there, another Hall of Famer, Bernie Federko. Tony Perez has agreed to come, Hall of Famer. But we're going to have a lot of fun. For information, you can call the Health Careers Foundation or Judy Eaglehoff, 314-770-1626. That's June the 1st and 2nd. Function Sunday night on June the 1st. Golf tournament June the 2nd. Joe, you were invited, but you've got a prior engagement. I know Danny will be out there, and plus a whole bunch more.
Eduardo Perez took a ball. Pujols at first with 1 out. And it's 2-0 from Weathers. Rolling on deck. A little more breathing room for the Cardinal bullpen would be nice, and Jeff Fassero will be the new pitcher in the 8th inning with Perez and Floyd, the first 2 hitters, a pair of left-handers. Shutout inning from Springer in the books. 2-1 on Eduardo, who was looking for swinging at a fastball. The only problem was it wasn't.
I'd be surprised how many guest hitters there are in the game.
He was dead on back in the 3rd inning when he led off with a home run against Al Leiter. It's low. 3-1. One on, 1 out, 3 balls and a strike. Perez will count.
Weathers from Tennessee. He's 33. You know, the Cardinals and Mets are two of the 4 oldest clubs in baseball.
It's just a different old for the Cardinals compared to the Mets.
Well, we're 6 months younger on average.
Perez stays up there. Yet when you look at the everyday lineup, you wouldn't consider it old, with Rolen at 3rd, Renteria at short, Pujols, Tino Martinez is an older player. Vina would have to be considered an older player, but I don't think Edmonds is necessarily in that category. Drew. Runner goes, ball 4, 2 on, 1 out. Boys of Summer return to Fox on May 17th. The season premiere of Fox Saturday Baseball. 18 weeks. The best players, the best matchups, the greatest moments in the game, all leading up to the 2003 World Series. MLB on Fox is opening day May 17th, only on Fox. And that will be the Cubs and the Cardinals. Week 1. And looking at the schedule, not only do we have the Cubs and Cardinals, a couple of times where we have the Cardinals and Yankees, we have the Cubs and Yankees. It's a good season this year on Fox Saturday Baseball.
Great.
Rolling now with 2 on, 1 out. Renteria in the shadows of home plate, creeping closer away from the on deck circle as Roland takes ball 1. A scoring chance, and the Cardinals desperately needing to open it back up. Led at 1.5 to nothing. It's now a 3-run game. 2 on, 1 out. Roland 1 for 3. Good fastball. 1-1. Rolling at 247. Inside corner for strike 2. Two on, 1 out, and Roland bounces 1 to Bell. They will get only the 1, and it's 1st and 3rd with Renteria coming up. 6-4 on the force out, and Edgar will bat. So Roland with a hit tonight, but he'll be frustrated after that missed opportunity, and now it's up to Renteria, who's 1 for 3.
You know, Weathers told me something interesting before the game, and he was here last year, so he knows what's been going on, but he felt that there was a lack of urgency for what is transpiring here with the Mets ball club in the early going. And I told him, I said, well, what can they do? They're locked into big contracts. You can't get rid of people.
The step to third, look to first.
That almost got Edgar in Florida.
Saw that. But it didn't. You get 1 a year. That's it. And no pitcher ever seems excited to do it. Renteria lines one past Wigginton, and the Cardinals add to their lead. Wigginton was in a couple of steps, almost even with a bag, and that got on him in a hurry and passed him in a hurry. The Cardinals lead it 6-2.
Big run right there, and Edgar continues to deliver in the clutch. 2-out base hits is becoming his forte. Look at that, just it's it by the young third baseman, and he leads the league in multi-hit games, and he adds another one here tonight.
Big 2-out RBI to make it a 4-run game. Wigginton was all the way in on the grass. So if you think that ball should have been caught, and I'm sure a lot of Mets fans do, that was a rocket hit down to third, and Wigginton didn't have much of a chance. Here's Marrero. A huge swing, strike 1.
Going off an awful lot of pitches, and that's what, you know, he likes that home run, and sometimes that gets him in a funk. Almost seems like he can barely reach the outside pitch, and that's where they're setting up.
Piazza stabs it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Mitchell Page been trying to work with him. Looked like it worked. He hits a home run and then goes back to some bad habits.
Roland and Renteria, the runners on with 2 out in the 7th inning, and ball 2 from David Weathers. This game started about roughly half-hour late. After 7:30, we had rain that hit and hit hard before the start of the night. Cardinals came up with 4 runs in their half of the first inning as Roger Cedeno comes in and has it to end the inning. Cardinals led it 5-0, then 5-2. Now it's 6-2 thanks to a 2-out RBI hit by Edgar Renteria. Mets will bat in the 8th. They trail by 4. The Ford F-150. Oh my gosh, I almost got hit by a flying t-shirt. Low 0% financing to qualified buyers with $3,000 cash back on certain models. Ford and your quality Ford stores. Your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. I was sitting here reading that, and lo and behold, a t-shirt that was wrapped up by the Fredbird crew just hit the desk in front of me, Al.
Yeah, Fredbird and I, my best friend, were out at Coleman Elementary School out in Pacific today, and so, you know, you were in Salisbury, North Carolina yesterday, getting the, you know, the greatest award by, you know, what is it, Broadcaster of the Year award?
Yeah.
See, that's how much I would know. And I'm at Coleman Elementary, and you're in Salisbury, North Carolina.
Well, Al, don't worry, you'll graduate soon.
Well, you know, 8th grade was my toughest. 2 terms, Truman and Eisenhower.
Hey, but we'll be here all week. Tip your waiters and waitresses. Why don't we get back out to the game, huh? Come on. Let's go. Come on. There he is. Look, it's Jeff Fassero, people. Fassero takes over. Good work by Springer. Went through the Mets 1, 2, 3, and now Shinjo will come off the bench and hammer at the first pitch. That's a favor, and that's Eduardo Perez. 1 out. Jeff Fassero was part of that 9th inning meltdown. Now we've said it, we've got it out of the way, and we can put that behind us. And Fassero, who has a 9.35 ERA, takes care of the leadoff man now on the first pitch with the Mets trailing by 4 here in the 8th.
You know, Ted Williams one time told me when he faces a new pitcher, you always take the first pitch. That's good enough for Ted.
It should be good enough for Shinjo.
Maybe he lost something in translation.
1 out, nobody on, and Floyd is tied up, but it's down and in, ball 1. Cliff Floyd doubled to start a little trouble for the Mets back in the 6th inning. Piazza double to follow for an RBI. Then a 2-out triple that went off the glove of Edmonds in center, off the bat of Ty Wigginton. Here's a 1-0 to Floyd. 1 ball, 1 strike. Piazza next. And the Cardinals have action out of their bullpen. It looks like the pitching styling of one Kiko Calero.
How good did he?
It could be Hermanson. It's one or the other, but I'm going Calero. You got the glasses.
And it's Kiko. How good did he look in extra innings?
Fantastic.
In pressure.
2 balls and a strike on Floyd.
There's Kiko. Struck out 5. Had a few walks in there.
It's hard to see number 40 and not automatically think of Andy Bennis. 2 balls and a strike. 3 balls and a strike. The reason Fassero came in was because of the left-handed Perez, who was pinch hit for by Shinjo, and then Floyd, who is behind 3-1. One out, nobody on. Count. Edgar Renteria with a big 2-out RBI base hit. Bottom of the 7th inning has made this a 4-run game again. Cardinals trying to get to the 500 mark tonight. 11-12 right now. 2 games out of first. Houston's lost tonight at home to Atlanta. And the Cubs trail at San Francisco 1-0 in the 2nd. Here's a 3-2 to Floyd with 1 out. A walk. So Fassero gives a free pass to the left-hander. And now Piazza will bat. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. And as always, Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports. It is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Tony La Russa has seen enough. Jeff Fassero Unable to get the left-handed batter after getting Shinjo on the first pitch. So we're going to have a double switch, obviously, as La Russa talks to Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire. Eduardo Perez is walking in. We know that Kiko Calero is coming in to pitch, with Piazza coming up, and then Clark to follow, and Jeff Facero has to exit. 1 on, 1 out, 6-2 Cards in the 8th. And Kiko Calero next out of the pen. One of the best ERAs that any Cardinal pitcher is sporting out in that bullpen belongs to Kiko Calero, who this season is getting his first taste of the big leagues.
And Sunday, 2 innings of work. He did walk 4. One of those was intentional, but he struck out 5. And strikeouts is part of his story. He's recorded 17 in his 9 appearances over 11 1/3 innings.
Double switch as Calero brings it to Piazza for strike 1. Orlando Palmeiro takes over in right. Eduardo Perez is finished, and Calero comes in to pitch. There's Palmeiro, 1 on, 1 out. Piazza tonight has 2 hits. Piazza tonight has 3 hits, as that's a rocket into left field. One hops the wall. And it's going to be second and third with 1 out. And there's that defensive play that I will never understand, but everybody uses it. Why you just allow Piazza, the guy at the plate, to get a double on a ball hit into the corner that you need 3 guys out on the left side of the field on a throw in from left field. There's no logical explanation for that. Why you need 2 cutoff guys for that short throw, and you give a guy like Piazza a gift double, and a base hit means 2 runs and means a 2-run game.
Yeah, I see your logic.
Tony Clark now takes ball 1. This started with a walk by Facero to Cliff Floyd, the left-handed batter. Calero comes in and gives up a double to Piazza, and here's Tony Clark, who's hit 4 home runs already this season. Good pitch, strike 1.
And Joe, as Steve Klein is warming up, and one of the reasons why Tony really likes to use Steve Klein at home is he feeds off the adrenaline of the crowd. Well, this crowd now is quiet as we're into the bullpen.
The 1-1. 1 and 2.
They want to clap. You see the Kleiner warming up in the bullpen.
Believe me, if the Cardinal fans are uneasy with the Cardinal bullpen, they are not alone. As Clark fights it off, and that's just human nature. I mean, the Cardinal players are, I'm sure, uneasy, and the Cardinal bullpen is uneasy, and they just need to get a string together of some successful outings to get their confidence back. A 1-2 to Tony Clark. Still 1 and 2.
I talked about Calero and the strikeout, so you definitely need one here. But bullpen does have a string of 12 scoreless innings right now, and it's in jeopardy.
Second and third, 1 out, a ball and 2 strikes on Clark as Calero tries to figure out a way to get one by him. He does. Big strikeout, 2 out.
Ball up there, and he swings through it.
Well, there's
classic, you know, where switch hitter, low ball hitter from the left side, high ball hitter from the right side, and Calero's just kind of cutesy, and they must not pick up his pitches very well.
now it's second and third, 2 out for Wigginton. Seen some good swings from the rookie third baseman tonight. Ball 1.
You go inside, you better get it way inside.
Got a quick stroke. A 1-0. Certainly no reason to pitch around Wigginton. That brings a tying run to the plate, whether it's a struggling Cedeno next or not.
Well, I think that's one of the the good and bads. You get some strikeouts from this guy, but you also get some walks.
You've got to challenge this guy. 2-1. Play Wigginton dead straight away. Looking for a big hit for the Mets is Ty Wigginton. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. It's 90 with a little movement.
Yeah, the movement is what does it.
Well, it was 2-0. Now it's 2-2. Calero gave up a double, then a strikeout as he got Clark, and he gets Wigginton. Ball almost backed up, and Wigginton swings through it. Back-to-back strikeouts, and Calero gets out of trouble. Cardinal bullpen now 2 shutout innings tonight. Cards still lead by 4. Shinjo stays in the game in center. He pinch hit for Timo Perez, and the new pitcher is Jamie Serta, the left-hander. He was appearing for the 9th time this season with his ERA up over 4.5. He will deal with Matheny, Delgado, and back to the top of the order where Palmeiro is situated, with Edmonds to follow. So time for a left-hander, and Tony La Russa has to be pleased with at least the results, what his bullpen has given him tonight on the heels of the 11 shutout innings on Sunday. It's 13 straight zeros the bullpen has put up. And we'll see if the Cards can hang on. Leading 6-2, bottom of the 8th inning, trying to win the first of 3 against the Mets before the Expos come to town this weekend. And trying to hand Matt Morris his 2nd win of the season, and even his record at 2-2, and even the overall team record at 12-12. There's our old buddy Don Bailey.
Yeah, I was talking with Don earlier before the game.
Little flare that's going to drop in right field. Base hit from Matheny, 2nd of the night. Now it's Delgado, and the Mets will look for the bunt. Wilson Delgado with a broken bat base hit, his only plate appearance. That came 2 innings ago. As a pinch hitter that stayed in the game to play second base. Pena getting the night off tonight, a former Met. 1 on, nobody out. Delgado. He took his hand as Serta threw over to first.
It's part of the reason you throw over to first and you let the bench read the hitter. See if they'll give away the sacrifice too soon.
Showed bunt. Will bunt. Makes a ball. Wigginton is daring Delgado to swing away. Wigginton was in a position to shake hands with Wilson after that pitch got to the plate.
Well, we've seen Tony be pretty creative, put on more hit and runs than any manager in National League last year.
2-0.
Here would be a time where maybe you would switch off, thinking that the pitcher is not going to go 3-0. Charging right there, or Butcher Boy, where you slap down on the ball. Cannot hit the ball in the air, because then you run the risk of the double play, the line drive double play.
So Serta's pitching with Delgado ready to give the Mets an out, and he's run the count to 2-0. And the bunt in the air is going to drop. 2-1.
Lucky. Didn't pop that up to one of the fielders.
9-2, Colorado leads at home over Cincinnati. They're through 6 innings. Could be a good night in the NL Central for the Cardinals, with the Cubs trailing at San Francisco and the Astros already losing at home to Atlanta and Greg Maddux. Matheny and that kid who was eating cotton candy earlier in the night read that pickoff throw to first. The 2-1. Serta is going to try for the lead runner and get Matheny. 1 on, 1 out. What's coming up on the Midwest Sports Report? I don't know. I don't know. Let's find out.
Right after the game in the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, part 1 of the Rams in the war room over the draft weekend. Should the Cards re-sign Chuck Finley? Our roundtable discusses that in a complete wrap-up of the Mets and the Cards, all after the game. Now let's send it back to Joe and Al. Guys?
Thank you, Rob. Well, I've always said this. If you can't bunt the guy down to second, try to steal second base. See if Delgado wants to try and read Serta. If the Cardinals push Delgado to second and force Piazza to throw him out. Ball 1 high to Orlando Palmeiro, first at bat of the night, after taking over in the double switch last half inning.
Left-hand batters are hitting 200 off of Serta. Joe, if you had much opportunity to spend a little time with Palmeiro?
Just introducing myself, shaking his hand. He couldn't be any more of an engaging, nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, he really has impressed us.
Just watching, he's been a huge addition to this team. Just walked into that pitch. It's 2-0 again, as it was when Serta was dealing with Delgado. But what a pleasure to have a guy that can come off the bench, likes the role, and can do what Palmeiro can do.
6-month-old baby was on a charter flight back from Miami, where he lives, in the off season. And she was very good.
If that continued after the plane touchdown at 2:30 in the morning for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, people don't know that we got home to St. Louis at 2:30 from a day game in Miami.
3-1 now on Palmeiro with Edmonds on deck, another lefty.
The 20-inning saga was just part of the story of our journey back.
Delgado at first, 1 out, not running, and Palmeiro nearly hit with ball 4. It's 2 on with 1 out. Remember, the Cardinals, when they brought in Calero, made a double switch. It's Edmonds at the plate now, Pujols to follow, and then Calero's spot. You can make the case, Al, that Calero deserves a chance to finish this game.
Obviously, if you get a scoring opportunity, you have to take it. Vern Rule will come out and talk to his young pitcher. But I think in the back of Tony's mind is I would suspect he wouldn't be too disappointed if Calero stays in to pitch the 9th inning.
By the way, for the Mets, it'll be the bottom 3 in their order. Cedeno, Bell, and then the pitcher spot. So you can get through the rest of this game without having to deal with Floyd, Piazza, or Tony Clark, which right now make up the bigger bats in this Mets lineup. No Vaughn leaving after the first half inning with stomach irritation. 2 on with 1 out. Cardinals already leading by 4. And here's Edmonds, who was a part of the 4-run first inning with a base hit after the Cairo double. Pujols an RBI double. And then rolling a 2-run double, later a stolen base and a run scored on a double by Renteria. 6-2 Cardinals, strike 1 to Edmonds. Mid high, a ball and a strike. Edmonds average at 371. That's the best average in the National League.
It's 3 for 14 against left-handed pitchers. Oh,
Leaning back again, trying to bomb one, and it's 1-2.
Well, I think he saw an off-speed pitch kind of hanging right up there for him, and he jumped at it. You know, you can react to an off-speed pitch, and look at, he's frustrated that he didn't hit that one.
Pickoff play at second, and Delgado gets back. Jay Bell was the shortstop sneaking in.
Daylight play. See him get over there, see daylight between the shortstop and the base runner. That's your signal as a pitcher to spin and throw. Throw it to the bag.
1-2 on Edmonds, 2 on, 1 out, and 2-2. Cardinal bullpen is quiet. Same for the Mets. A 2-2 pitch to Edmonds. He checked it. Full count.
That's what the Atlanta Braves do to Jim Edmonds, is they get him to chase balls up and down. It's the toughest team for him to hit against.
Did go deep against him down in Atlanta on the recent trip.
To get his average to just under 100 at Turner Field.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Edmonds takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded with 1 out on a flare hit, 2 walks in the inning, and now Pujols will bat.
A close 3-2 pitch, and he lays off the breaking ball. Sort of can't believe it.
When you talk to the league office, Al, sorry to cut you off, they'll tell you that more pitches are missed when they grade out these umpires on low deliveries compared to the quote-unquote high strike.
But the problem with the situation they have,
Pujols, bases loaded, strike 1,
is they can pretty much define the outer part and inner part of the plate, but it's someone manually adjusting that area for the knees and the height, so you still don't know if it's accurate.
Bases loaded, 1 out, no balls, 1 strike, and Pujols could bust it wide open with Calero on deck and nobody warming in the bullpen. One and 1, Albert Pujols. As we flash back, August 10th, hit a grand slam against Sean Estes and the Mets last season.
We would take the same. Still no activity, and Calero on the on-deck circle.
1-1, 2-1. So Cerda can't find the strike zone. Couldn't get the lefty Palmeiro, couldn't get the lefty Edmonds. And Art Howe is pretty much saying, Cerda, the rest of this is yours. There's nobody warming up for the Mets, nobody warming up for the Cardinals. The 2-1 to Pujols. Squirts away a bit, and that may have taken a strike away from Cerda. It was a borderline pitch, and it's 3-1.
Pancho Kindo talking about the responsibilities for the runners out at second base, what to do in a pop-up, what to do in a line drive. Pick up me, I'll tell you where to go.
Pujols waiting for a pitch to crush. Another walk, and that forces home a run to make it 7-2. And Calero will bat here in the 8th. 3 consecutive walks to force home a run. And you can see La Russa. I mean, if you want to read into that, he's just saying stand there.
Yeah,
he didn't want Calero to bounce into a double play.
Good point. You know, just go and take them, because sometimes a strikeout is better than that inning-ending double play with Scott Rowland on deck.
So let's see. Let's see if Calero swings the bat. We bet he doesn't. Strike one.
Well, the one thing you want to do is you want to at least give the impression that you're going to swing, but follow the orders of your manager. And Jose keeps on reminding him. And sometimes as a pitcher, even if you know the guy's not swinging, it makes it even more difficult to throw a strike.
He's just walked 3 in a row. And Serta is squeezing that baseball as he's run it to 1-1 on Calero, who is not going to swing.
Graham Lloyd is warming up, but
yes, he is going to swing, and he flares one into right. How about that? In to score, Palmeiro, and the Cardinals lead it 8-2. And La Russa is standing there like, you've got to be kidding me. He just told him not to swing. Jose Oquendo talked to Calero and said don't swing. Then he swings at a terrible pitch, and he gets a hit.
look at that reaction from Tony. What has he done? What does he not understand? English? You know what he's
Or
going to say?
Spanish.
Or Spanish.
How about that? That is
You know what he's
priceless.
going to say is, hey man, that was going to hit me in the kneecap. I had to swing.
Not only was he told not to swing, the pitch that he just hit for a base hit was horrendous.
Well, that's why I'm saying he had to swing to protect his kneecap.
Is that great? We caught Tony telling Calero 1, 2, 3, stand there, don't swing. He goes down and talks to Oquendo, who you would presume said don't swing. He doesn't swing at the first 2 pitches. They don't want him to ground into a double play, so they want him to just stand there.
Well, he's going to go walk off now while they change pitchers, and let's see if Tony goes and tells him. I think Tony's hiding there, but that's his first major league hit. Congratulations there, RBI, and a fine from your manager. This is Graham Lloyd, the big Australian.
Ah, that's great. See, it was worth the wait.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. 8-2 Cardinals, still going. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. One more look at the reaction by Tony La Russa when Calero took a swing.
He had just ordered him to take all pitches so he wouldn't line into a double play.
Here's Rowland facing Graham Lloyd. He takes a strike. Cardinals lead by 6.
Graham Lloyd signed with the Mets as a free agent. Done a good job for him. Right-handers are batting 188, lefties 083, and he's retired all 8 first batters faced.
Big part of the Yankees' success back in '96. A big reason why they won that championship, beating the Braves, coming back down 2 games to none to win 4 straight.
How do you go from the Yankees to Montreal?
It's a good question.
He was traded though. What?
He was traded. The 0-2 pitch to Rowland. Ball 2 strikes. Cardinals now have Edmonds at third, Pujols at second, and hard hit Kiko Calero at first. Rolling with a big swing, still 1-2. That was a 3-1 swing on a 1-2 count.
Seems like his swing has gotten a little big.
Another chance for Scott. Another 1-2 pitch. Popped up left side. It's trying to get out of play. And it will. Great job by our Bud Sports crew. Capturing those reactions by Tony La Russa.
Well, what made it so priceless is our crew got Tony giving the signal to take the entire bat.
Another 1-2. Rolling with a base hit into left field, and the wheel keeps on spinning. 2 runs are going to score as Floyd just flips it back into the infield, and all of a sudden it's 10-2.
It's 4 RBIs now for Scott Rowland on the night. 2 hits. He got in the first and here, and hopefully what the Cardinals' last at bat, making it 10-2. Leads the ball club now with 20 RBIs.
Now it's Calero, the lead runner. And Edgar Renteria at the plate. Runners on at first and second. Edgar with a 2-out RBI hit last inning. The Cardinals have blown it open here with 4 runs in the 8th. That is ripped into left field. It's going to get down. Another hit for Renteria. In to score Calero. Here comes Rowland right up his back. 2 more runs and it's 12-2.
So that's another aspect why you love Scott Rowland. You know, he's going to run and do everything 100% all the time. He's never going to take it easy for any of his teammates, and it gives Renteria that second RBI. There he is. He plugs the ball down in the left field corner. Floyd giving chase, and Scott Rowland scores from first base because of his hustle.
6 doubles tonight for the Cardinals. And the only guy not in on the fun so far is Eli Marrero. 0 for 4. He hit the ball hard twice. Good running catches by Cliff Floyd in the 3rd and in the 6th. As he bats with Renteria at second, and still only 1 out in the inning. Tony La Russa has a perfect situation as he kept Kiko Calero in the game. We made a lot out of the fact that he just wanted Calero to stand there at the plate, but the inning continues. The Cardinals have blown it open. Calero can go back out there as Marrero gets in on the action with a base hit to center. They'll hold Renteria. And now the Cardinals can get an extra day of rest for the majority of that bullpen thanks to this 6-run explosion with maybe more to come here in the 8th.
Watch him out here, and still kind of flailing and wailing, but not as stepping in the bucket, so he still could cover the outside part of the plate. Graham Lloyd has been rudely greeted, but I'm sure he was sitting there going, you know, I've got a night off, and turned off the juices and found himself in a game.
Now Matheny. Mike started this with a flare base hit into right. Then Delgado bunted into a force out at second. A walk to Palmeiro, a walk to Edmonds, a walk to Pujols to force home a run. A base hit by Kiko Calero. First base hit in his career. Went for an RBI as Matheny squirts it foul. Then Rowland a 2-run single. Edgar Renteria a 2-run double. A base hit by Marrero, and here's Matheny again.
16 hits. Cardinals have banged out.
Matt Morris will even his record at 2-2, and the Cardinals at the end of this night will finally have climbed back to the 500 mark. 12-12. Matheny into 1 to left field. Well hit. Back is Floyd. That'll bring home a run. Renteria tags and scores, and it's 13-2 as Matheny knocks home his 13th run of the season.
Outfielders kind of came to the ballpark today, didn't realize they were going to be in a track meet. It's been a long couple days for them. Losing a doubleheader to the Diamondbacks on Sunday.
Diamondbacks tonight are being shut out by Mark Redmond, who's had a couple of starts that have been sensational, pitching from Florida 5-0 in Arizona after 6. Delgado gulps one into shallow left. That's going to be a base hit. Floyd still running around out in left field. Delgado, his second hit of the night. He didn't enter until the 6th inning.
Cliff Floyd trying to deke Marrero, but it wasn't doing any good.
A 7-run 8th inning, and Orlando Palmeiro with his second at bat. Runners on at first and second, 2 out. Palmeiro takes ball 1.
We talked about Matt's only other win was a blowout, a 15-2 win against Milwaukee. Got a couple more runs to get up there.
It's 13-2 now. 2 on, 2 out. 1-0. We haven't seen many left-handers, and I know Orlando Palmeiro is not a big guy. The fan went tumbling after a foul ball. We've really seen Palmeiro hang in very well against left-handed pitchers.
Well, he's 2 for 4 against left-handers. Remember, he walked against Creda in this inning.
2-1.
So the reason he hangs in there is because he doesn't bail out. That front shoulder is so important to a pitcher, but it's also important for a lefty facing a lefty. You let that front shoulder fly open, you're in trouble.
2-1 pitch. Palmeiro takes ball 3. On deck is Kerry Robinson. He would bat for Edmonds if the inning gets that far. A home run, 10 RBIs, a chance to add to that total here. Taking, and it's a full count. The runners will go.
Another aspect to Palmeiro is he's not afraid to hit deep in the count.
Well, that was obvious as he just stood there on a 3-1 pitch. He was not afraid to take a strike, and now a full count pitch is hit up the middle for the second baseman Alomar. And the inning comes to a close. So that'll do it for the Cardinals, who bust loose in the 8th. This crowd loves it. Those who have stayed around. Arusa loved the hit by Calero. It's 13-2. STLCardinals.com has the broadest selection of items for the team you love. Shop STLCardinals.com, the official site of wearing your heart on your sleeve, cap pullover, and lots more. Ain't gonna be no extra innings tonight, Al.
Kerry's going to make sure of that, right? He's out there in center field.
Kiko Calero took over last inning. Made it interesting by giving up a double to the first man he faced, Piazza, but came back to strike out both Tony Clark and Ty Wigginton. And now in the 9th with a 13-2 lopsided lead. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Cedeno, who lines it down the right field line. To the wall, and Cedeno will scoot to second. He will be content with a double down by 11.
Pujols got up in the air trying to get that line drive.
Way up. Al, are you willing to guarantee me that the Mets are not going to come up with 11 runs here in the 9th inning?
Just off. You know, there have been a few announcers, color guys, that have made those promises and walked from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh.
That's right.
But I will.
Where will you walk to if the Mets come back and tie this game?
To Hungary.
To Hungary. Fantastic. That'll be interesting. Here's an 0-1 pitch. Bell pops it foul, and it's 0-2.
Don't root against me now.
I'm not. Hungary, Missouri.
No. Hungary. You're intrigued, I can tell.
I am. There are all sorts of possibilities here. Here's an 0-2 to Bell. Little check swing. Al is breathing easier as Pujols goes to the bag. 1 out.
I have faith in my bullpenners.
11 straight, plus 2 more. 13 consecutive scoreless innings from the bullpen, now 13 1/3. But there's a run sitting down there, 90 feet away with 1 out, as Vance Wilson is going to come off the bench and bat for the pitcher, Graham Lloyd. Wilson has 1 home run this season, takes a strike. First Springer, then Facero, and now Calero. All closing it down for Matt Morris. Good pitch. He made Wilson look bad on that swing. 0-2.
Got a good breaking ball for that sinker slider type pitcher. But somehow he is deceptive.
Gunning for his 3rd strikeout. He misses with ball 1. Vance Wilson is the backup to Mike Piazza.
Don't get much playing time, but he's got a few more bats now, as Piazza was suspended there for a while.
A 1-2 pitch into center field. Cedeno will tag and come to the plate. The scoreless string for the Cardinal bullpen is history, but it's 2 out here in the 9th inning, and it's 13-3 Cardinals. Let's give you today's play of the game, brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. Without a doubt, after being told to stand there and not swing, which brought this reaction from Tony La Russa. It's Kiko Calero with his first major league hit. Also his first major league RBI.
And his first major league fine. Yeah, that guy's rooting for me to walk. Not going to happen.
This was a 4-3 game in the 9th inning. I might have more respect for the guy, but when it's 13-3, who cares? It's easy to hold up that sign. 2 balls and a strike on Roberto Alomar, who's committed an error tonight. Is 0 for 4 at the plate. Calero giving the Cardinals some outs they desperately need to try to save the rest of the bullpen. 3-1 on Alomar.
It's the leftover of the Tug McGraw fan club, we believe.
Tug McGraw.
He's doing much better.
Much better. 2 out, nobody on. 3-1 pitch, a 2-out walk, and that'll keep it going for Shinjo.
Not worried.
Brain tumor diagnosed. Tug McGraw during the spring. Had it operated on. They kept it quiet as to whether it was cancerous or not. Then it leaked out that it was cancerous. But the prognosis for Tug McGraw, really from the instant after the operation was completed till now, continues to be very positive. 1 on, 2 out. A run is home, and it's a 1-1 count on Shinjo.
Ready to end it right here.
Shinjo's 0 for 1 since he entered, and it's now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, let's see if Calero can end a long night. Game started about a half hour late. It is 11:15. Those that remain get loud, and Shinjo takes ball 2. 2-2. Cardinals on average play the 3rd longest games in the big leagues this year with regard to time of game. A lot of that has to do with some of the struggles in the bullpen. Florida the longest, Seattle #2, and the Cardinals #3.
Well, part of it has to do with numerous pitching changes by Tony, but an awful lot of hits and Cardinal batters making the opposition make pitching changes.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The runner at first. Alomar will take off. Here it is from Calero. Woody Williams and Pedro Estacio tomorrow night. That game right here Fox Sports Net. 3-2 pitch. Another walk. Batter will be Cliff Floyd with Piazza to follow, but a 10-run Cardinal lead.
Tony trying to intently watching. You know, the other day he passed Walter Alston in managerial games. Now he's 8th place in Major League history of managing big league games. And I asked him about any recollections or meeting Walter Alston.
Cliff Floyd, strike one.
And he said the coach he had great respect told him his first year, he said, you know, you're not going to make it. You know, you're just too animated in the dugout. You got to kind of, you know, be like Walter Alston. You got to sit there and, you know, just never move. Be so stoic.
Even leading by 10, he is anything but reserved or stoic in the dugout now.
And he did it for one game. He did it for one game, and he said, I felt terrible. I felt like I had let my team down. He went to that coach. He said, hey, I'm sorry. I got to be myself. I got to be in on every pitch.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. Cardinals trying to beat the Mets, and they will. On the infield, Edgar Renteria, a big part of the win tonight, puts it away, and the Cardinals are back to the 500 mark at 12-12. We'll be back at you tomorrow night after this 10-run victory, 13-3. Game 2 of the set. Woody Williams and Pedro Estacio on the air with Cardinals tonight at 6:30. The Midwest Sports Report coming up. For Alan, Dan, I'm Joe. So long from St. Louis.